This tutorial is a complete guide on creating a customizable WordPress blog. It's unique because it's actually part one of a two-part series. In this first video, you'll learn how to build and customize your blog. The second video, to be released in a few weeks' time, will delve into monetizing your blog and how to make a passive income from it. So for this video, I actually dedicated over 1 month to create this tutorial to make sure that it's personally something that I would want to watch as well. Because I remember the initial confusion and frustration when I started to create a blog using WordPress. I didn't know which themes or plugins to use, and I could never get the result that I wanted. So this really motivated me to conduct a lot of research on popular blogs across various industries, as well as identify things that were actually missing in existing YouTube tutorials. So after a lot of designing, testing, building, recording, and editing, this is the final result, and I've broken it down into 24 simple steps so that you can follow it to create any type of blog that you want. So let's jump in and explore exactly what this tutorial covers. So let me give you a quick tour of exactly what we're going to be building today. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a free logo and add it onto your blog. I'll also show you guys how to add in a favicon, which is the little icon that you see on your tabs. Then I'll show you guys how to create your simple header design with your different pages and navigational menu. I'll show you guys how to create a simple about page, and obviously you can change the layout or anything like that as well. I'll show you guys how to add in a blog page to display your blog post. I'll also show you guys how to add in this over here, which is called the mega menu, and here you can actually display your different categories and posts in a very visual way. And I'll show you guys how to create a simple contact page with a contact form and a map. And I'll also show you guys how to create a search function. So basically people can search for specific keywords to look for your blog post, and they can click into the results. So this is especially great if you have a lot of blog posts. Then I'll show you guys how to add in your hero section, so you can have a slider image or just an image or even a video background. I'll show you guys how to add in text and buttons. And scrolling down here to the body of our homepage, we have this section here, which actually links to your specific categories, and you can actually create any type of design and layout that you want, because everything's going to be a visual front-end drag and drop builder, so you don't have to switch to a different theme. You can build everything with just this theme. So here we've also got a really cool feature where people can click on the different categories, and it'll actually show the specific categories only, like that. And on the right hand side, we have a very simple sidebar, which is totally customizable with the content that you add in here. So in this case, we've got an image, some text, social media links, as well as the must-read articles. And here you can also add in a banner, advertisement. It could be an affiliate link, it could be Google AdSense, or it could be just like a sponsorship. And we've also got the categories again, but again, you can change the layout if you wish. And scrolling down here, we have an email sign-up form, which I'll show you guys how to add. I'll also show you guys how to add in an Instagram feed, as well as a very simple footer design and a back to top button like that. So probably the most important part of a blog is the blog post itself. And in this tutorial, I'll actually show you guys how to add in a table of contents. So this is a very popular feature among popular blogs, but not many tutorials actually show you how to achieve it. So in this tutorial, I will show you guys how to add it in, and your viewers can actually click on the specific heading and it'll scroll to that specific section. And what's cool is it actually stays there, so it's also known as a sticky. And for your blog post, we have a title here, image, and then we've also got social media sharing icons. So if your viewers like the post, they can share it on their platform to their friends really easily. And for your blog post, you can literally add in any type of content that you want, anything from the builder, and you can add in links, for example, your affiliate links, images, videos, and things like that. We've also got a sign up for our weekly newsletter again, and you can change the position of that if you want to, even add it to your sidebar as well. And we've got our related post, so displaying posts from the same category. And we've also got a section where your visitors can actually leave a comment and you can reply to them as well. And another really unique feature is that for this specific blog post, we have a different sidebar. So instead of having the content sidebar, what I've decided to do is I just wanted a simple sidebar. So what you can actually do is you can create different sidebars for different posts or specific categories as well. So for example, this category, which is the stories category, I didn't really need a contents, so I just created a very simple sidebar, basically just to demonstrate how you can actually use it. So again, this is a very popular feature among popular blogs, and not many tutorials actually show you guys how to actually do that. And of course, your blog will be mobile responsive, so it's going to look good on all mobile devices and tablet devices. I also tested our blog on G2 metrics and we scored close to 100. So this is really important because it means that our website and blog is loading quickly, and that's going to be an important ranking factor when you want to rank your website on top of Google to get traffic to your website. So before we actually get started in the tutorial, I just want to mention that all the resources and everything that I mentioned will be linked in the description below, including the download links for the theme, plugin, as well as the images that go along with the tutorial. And I've also written down all the timestamps in the description so you can skip to any step that you wish. And also make sure to subscribe because in around a few weeks time, I'll actually upload part 2, which I'll go through exactly step by step on how to monetize your blog and how to make money. So what do we need to get started with our WordPress blog? The first thing that you'll need is a hosting account. So what is hosting? Hosting is essentially a bunch of computers, also known as a server, that allow us to store our website and blog files there. So for example, your images and text, and this allows visitors all around the world to visit your website 24/7. The second thing you'll need is a domain name. So domain name is just going to be your website's address. For example, your name or your brandname.com. My one is hoganchua.com. Google's is google.com. And we can actually get those two things at Hostinger, which is one of the most popular hosting providers out there because they have really affordable plans and they also have really fast servers that allow your website to load really quickly, and they make it extremely easy for us to install WordPress. So for those of you who are not sure what WordPress is, they are a content management system, and in short, it's sort of just like a software that you add onto your hosting, and that allows you to create a website, blog, or e-commerce site without any technical or without any coding knowledge. And an interesting fact is that they actually power over 40% of the internet, and they're by far the most popular way to create a blog. So you can actually get hosting at other hosting providers as well. So you can actually follow along even if you don't get hosting, but I do highly recommend them. So without much further ado, let's get started. So to get started in this tutorial, you can click the first link in the video description, which is going to take you to this page that Hostinger have created for our viewers, essentially giving you guys a discount on the web hosting plans. So here we have 3 different plans that you can choose from to get started with your WordPress blog. You've got the premium plan, business plan, and the cloud startup. So generally for most people, I do recommend the business plan because for the price, you do get the best value. So you get the increased performance, you've got the NVMe storage, daily backups for your website and blog. You also get the free CDN included. So essentially the CDN is sort of like a network of computers that are around the world, and you sort of save your website's data there, and it allows users all around the world to access your website. It basically loads faster for them, and it is a really great feature. So over here, we've also got the cloud startup. So if you want the best performance and you have the budget, then you can go for the cloud startup. But again, it comes at a much steeper price, especially when you renew. You've also got the premium plan. So if you are on a tighter budget, you can also choose this plan over here. So you got the standard performance, you get the weekly backups instead of the daily backups, and you don't get the free CDN. So with all 3 plans, you also get the free domains included, which is really great because a lot of hosting companies actually don't include that. So for this video, I'm going to go ahead and choose the business plan, but you can choose any of these 3. So click on add to cart. So we can scroll down over here and you can choose a period. So generally I recommend 12 months or longer. So if you go for the month-to-month plan, it's not really worth the money because let's say, for example, we do get it. It's like $14 per month. And if you keep your website for 12 months, then it already equals around $170, and it doesn't include the free domain name either. So you also add another $5 for the setup fee, and essentially it's the same price as if you get the 48-month plan, which is 4 years, and as you can see the price there. So it's not really worth the money. Now the main difference here between the 12 and 24 and 48 months is going to be the lower pricing. And you can also see the lower pricing as it renews as well. So if you know that you're going to keep your website for a long time, then you can go for a longer term. But for this tutorial, we're going to just select the 12-month plan and we're going to scroll down. So here we can create your hosting account. So just enter in your email and your password. So this is basically to log into your hosting account, or you can use your Google or Facebook account as well. So over here, we can select a payment method, enter in your details, and we can scroll down, and here we can click on have a coupon code. So you can enter in the coupon code Hogan, Chua, so HOGAN, and then click on apply. And hopefully that's going to save you some more money as well. So I believe it gives you an additional 10% discount or so. And then once you're ready, then you can enter in your credit card details and click on submit secure payment. So I'm going to quickly do that and I'll see you guys on the inside. Okay, so from here we can click on start now, and I'm going to click on skip I don't want the personalized experience because I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do. So here we can click on create a new website, click on select, and we're going to be using WordPress to create our blog. So we're going to click on select. And here we need to create our login details for our WordPress account. So enter in the email that you're going to be using to log into your WordPress account with. So I'm going to set in my email and set in a password, then click on continue. So from here, it's going to ask you to add some plugins to your website. So what we're going to do is just skip and I'll click on manage later. And we're going to scroll down as well and click on skip I don't need a template. So I'll show you guys which template we're going to be using. So click on that. And here, skip, I'll write the content later. So here we can claim our free domain name and we're going to click on select. So if you are creating a personal blog, then I might recommend choosing just your personal name. For example, my one is hoganchua.com. You might go for yourname.com or whichever extension that you may want. So if you don't want to choose your personal name and you're not sure basically what name to call your blog and website, then you can go to a website called namelinks.com and you can enter in a few keywords. So for example, if you want to create like a food and travel blog, so you can type that in and then click on generate. And here we can just select auto style, click on next. For the randomness, if you want some more ideas, then you might select the high option and click on next. And here we can enter in the brand information. So we can create a food and travel blog for the one sentence description. So you can add that in or you can ignore that and then click on generate. And as you can see, we have a ton of different ideas here and you can take inspiration from that and come up with a name to enter in here. So I'm actually going to create a blog sort of for like creators, helpful tips and reviews for content creators. So I'm going to call this one next creator, and I'm going to select the .com extension and click on search. So as you can see, it is not available because someone else has taken it already. So perhaps let's just take away the O, next creator, something like that, and click on search. Okay, so if it is available, then click on continue. And what I'm going to do is just click on next step. And essentially I'm going to fill in the details over here. So once you've filled in your contact details, then you can click on finish registration, and that's going to help you register your domain name. So here we can choose our server location. So you can click on it. So this is especially important if you are a local business. So you can choose a server location which is closer to your audience, allowing your website to load faster. So generally for a blog, so if the main language for your blog is English, then I'd probably select a server in the United States. So I'm just going to keep it as North America and click on change. Then we're going to click on finish setup. So what you want to do now is to make sure to verify your email address with Hostinger. So go to your email and let's verify our email. So let's go back over here to our email address and click back to your inbox. We also want to verify our domain for our contact details. So let's click over here and we want to click on this link, and we're going to verify our details. We're going to accept, and please select one of the options. We're going to click on approve, and then we're going to click on submit. So once you've verified your domain name as well as your email address, then we can head back over here and click on the admin panel, and that's going to redirect us to our WordPress dashboard area. And if we go and visit the site, this is going to be the front end and what your visitors will see. So let's head back over here to our dashboard. So I wanted to show you guys basically how to log out and log back in. So if you want to make changes to your website, let's click on log out. And if you want to log back in, you're going to be greeted with this dashboard. So we need to type in our domain name and then type in wp-admin and then click on enter. And this is going to redirect us to the login page of WordPress. So this is where you enter in your details that you set in earlier for your WordPress account, and you can click on login. So another way to actually log in is if we head back over here, we can click on manage site, and you can log in through the hPanel area of your Hostinger's account. So basically you'll need to log into your Hostinger with your details, and then we can navigate to websites. And then over here, we can click on admin panel, and then that's also going to take you back to the WordPress dashboard area. So as you can see, that's also going to take you to your WordPress dashboard area, and you can start editing your blog. So what we're going to do is we're just going to close all the tabs above here, and let's just close them all. Okay. So step number 1 and 2, we've completed those. So I'm just going to cross that out. And the next step is basically setting up the best settings for your WordPress website. So let's click back to your website, and you want to click on the dashboard over here. And what we want to do is clean up this dashboard area, because once you actually get started with building your website, it becomes quite messy in your dashboard area and things become quite confusing. And most of the time you don't really need all this information showing. So what we're going to do is actually just dismiss this over here, and let's just minimize all of these. Minimize that, minimize that. Now, if you do want to remove them, you can also click on screen options, and we can remove that as well. Because once you start adding themes and plugins and adding posts, it's going to be quite overwhelming. So we want to try and clear things up first of all. And here we want to hover over settings, and then here we can click on permalinks. So we want to make sure the permalink structure is set to post name, basically, which will show your post title in your URL, okay, or your page title in your URL. So you don't want something like this, p=123, because that's not very search friendly or user friendly. So choose post name, scroll down and save changes. Then the next step, we can hover over users over here, and we can click on all users. So here, this is you, and we can click on edit. Here you can actually change the color scheme of your website too. So you can update that depending on essentially what you want. So I'm just going to keep it as modern, and we're going to scroll down over here and just enter in your first name, or it could be an alias name. And you can also enter in a last name if you want to as well. So basically we can actually display the name publicly as your name. Otherwise, when you are adding blog post, then it's going to show the website name, which is kind of weird. So we want to put our name here so we can select it. So once we're done, we can scroll down over here. You can also set in a new password if you want to here as well. And then we can update profile. So another thing that you can actually do for your website is to add a profile picture. And you can actually do that through Gravatar. So you can create a free account on Gravatar and add your profile picture. So then it's going to show you as the author of your site. So once you've done that, you can click on update profile. And with plugins, so plugins are essentially applications that you can add onto your website, and they give extra functionality for it. So you may have the Hosting AI Assistant activated, and what I do recommend is probably deactivating it for now because we're not going to be using it. And same for all plugins that you're not currently using. So especially if you follow like another video or you just want to start fresh, I do recommend just deactivating most of the plugins that you're not using, because it just makes things a lot simpler. So let's just close these on the top over here. And appearance is essentially where we add the theme, and I'll show you that in a minute. So comments is where you can manage your blog post comments. You can basically approve them, or you can trash it as well. And pages, this is where you can create your pages for your website, like your home page, services page, blog page. Media, this is where you can upload all your images. So then you can choose your images to basically use for your website. And post is basically where we can add in our blog post. So right now they do have a hello world post, which is, let's open that up, close that for now. And over here is the hello world sample post. If we actually go and update that, and let's click on view post, then this is the blog post. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually just go ahead and select it, and then we can just move it to the bin, apply, and go to the bin again, and then delete permanently. So step number 3 is completed. So let's just check that off, and we're going to go ahead and install our theme. So the theme is basically going to be the appearance of your website, and it also features the drag and drop builder, which basically allows you to build any blog or any website that you want without any code. So let's click on appearance. This is the default theme by WordPress themselves. So the 2024, last year was the 2023 theme, and every year they will come up with a new theme, but it's quite basic in terms of the features. It's very, very simple, and you can't really customize it to the way that you like. You can, but it does take some work, and yeah, it's quite limited in terms of features in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and add a new theme, and there's quite a lot of different themes you can actually use as well. Most of these are going to be free, and if you do want additional features, you do have to pay for it as well. So the theme that I personally like is Themify Ultra. So this is one of the most powerful and flexible themes that I know. So it's not as popular as, for example, like the Elementor themes and things like that. But in my opinion, I think it's quite easy to actually use for beginners. So I've actually partnered up with Themify to share this theme with you guys for free. So it is a premium theme, but you can, update it, and you can actually get the support if you do want to, but you don't need to, right? You can continue to use the theme however you like, even for your own website or for your client site. So we're going to go ahead and install it. So before you can install it, you'll have to download the theme, which is going to be in the description of this video. So the file should look something like this, themify-ultra.zip. Now, sometimes your browser may actually unzip it into a folder. So you want to make sure you actually compress it back into the zip file, because you won't be able to upload the folder. And I've also got a link to download the contact form plugin as well as the images to follow along with this blog tutorial. So you can download that while you're there. And let's head back over here. So upload theme, choose file, select the file. So make sure it's the .zip, and click on open, and then install now. And then let's click on activate. And you may actually see the skins and demos pop up. But what we're going to do is just keep it as the default skins and demos, and just click on save. So you can actually change the skins a little bit later. So basically it changes the fonts and some of the styling of your site. But let's just build out the basic layout first, and then we'll talk about changing the colors and the theme a little bit later on. So once you've done that and selected the default one, we can go to our website to see what that looks like on the front page. So you can click on the top over here. Okay, and that's going to direct you to the front end. So this is what your customers or your visitors will actually see. And if we go back here to our dashboard, so this is also known as the back end of your site. So this one is actually from the theme itself. We can actually minimize that if you want to. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and create some new pages. So step number 4, install theme, is done. So let's just check that off. And the next step is to create your pages. So let's come back over here to your dashboard section, and then we can click on pages, and we can click on add new page. And for the title, we're going to create our first page, which is going to be our home. And then on the top right, click on publish, and you'll need to click on publish again. So if you just want to click on publish one time without the pre-publish check, you can also disable this. And let's click on publish. So now the page is live, so you can access your page by clicking on view page. You can also click on view page on here as well. So let's say, for example, let's open this in a new tab. And this is the home page, right? So we're going to add a few more pages, then we're going to set this as your actual home page without the /home. So for example, when you click over here, then it's going to display. So I'll show you that step by step shortly. So let's go back over here and let's click on the WordPress icon to click on view pages again. And let's click on add new. And we're going to add about page, publish, and then we're going to come back over here, add new page. So this one is going to be the blog page, and publish again, and then we'll add our contact page. So let's click over here again, add page, and you can create as many pages as you need. So pages are going to be sort of like your static pages, such as your home page, about page, contact pages. It could be like a products or services page, and your blog posts will have basically sort of like an author, and then you'll have like a category as well as a date and things like that. So that's where you publish sort of your blog post articles. Click on view page over here, and you can manage your pages here. So let's go to our site, and as you can see, the pages will display on the top. So let's click on the home page, and what we want to do is make this our actual home page without the /home. So let's go to customize, and then let's click on back and homepage settings, set a static page, and for the home page, select home. Then click on publish and close. Okay, so as you can see, this page now is just your domain.com. The next step before we actually turn on the builder and start building is we need to configure the default sort of page layout first. So as you can see, we only have a small sort of space to drag in our modules and build the website. What we want is sort of like a whole section. So as you can see, we can create our sort of custom layout like that. So what we're going to do is head back over here, close that, and let's navigate to the dashboard. Themify Ultra, hover over here, click on Themify Settings, then click on Default Layouts, click on Default Page Layout. So essentially this is going to create the default page layout for all your pages, and I want to select No Sidebar, and you can also hide the title. So let's click over here. So we can hide the title, and as you see, we've selected the full width one without the sidebar, so this will be removed. So let's select hide. Featured image, let's just leave that as is. Page comments, I'm going to disable that. Then click on save. And if we come back over here, refresh this page, then right now you're going to see the title has been removed as well as the sidebar. So if we turn on the builder, then we sort of have an entire section to work with for our layouts. So step number 5 is done. So let's select it and let's check that off. And the next step is to edit the menu navigation, which is the menu here. So as you can see, it's not in order right now. It's because we haven't set it in yet. So to customize it, we can click on customize on the top and then click on the back arrow, then click on menus. And here we want to create a new menu. So for the menu name, I'm going to name it top nav for top navigation. It doesn't really matter what you name it as long as you personally know what it is. And we can set it to the main navigation. So if you set it to the footer navigation, it's basically going to appear on the footer section, which is the bottom of your website. So we want it to appear on the top. So let's set it to main and click on next. And over here, we can click on add items. And from here, we can add the pages that we want to display in our menu. So I want to add the about page, the blog page, and the contact page. And we're going to leave the home page out because generally when you click on the logo, it's going to redirect to the home page anyway. So let's click on publish and you can see how that looks. So as you can see, it's going to be about, blog, and contact. It's in order. If you want to change the order, you can click it and you can drag it and sort of drop it on the top, and the order is going to change like that. You can also do a drop down menu. So for example, let's say you want the blog to drop down for about. then you can put it under. So sort of put it under about and indent it. And when you hover over it, it's going to drop down. You can also do, like, for example, contact under blog as well. So drag it and sort of put under blog. And then that's going to drop down again. So about, blog, and contact. So it's very simple to set in the menu navigation. I'm going to put it back. And then that is looking all good. So once that is good, then we can publish that. So a little bit later, I'll show you guys how to create the mega menu, essentially allowing you to display your categories and posts like this, so people can navigate it quite easily, your entire website. And let's head back over here and let's click on close. So there is another way of setting the menu, which is the back end of your website. So you can actually go to your dashboard section here as well. And you can go to appearance and then you can go to menus. So it's essentially the same thing, but on the back end of your website, right? So you can also click on the manage with live preview, and it's automatically going to direct you to the front end to edit your menu. Okay. So in this section of the tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create a free logo and a free favicon, which is the little icon that you see on the tab over here, and show you guys how to add it onto your website. Now, for those of you who have a logo already, then perhaps you can skip this part, but I do want to give you just a few tips before we actually get started, because sometimes when people follow my tutorial, they add in the logo and they show me the website and it doesn't look very good. So for example, one of the big mistakes that people make is when they add in the logo over here, they don't upload a transparent file format. So as you can see, that's a .jpeg. And that's a non-transparent file format. Basically, it has a white background on it. So as you can see, it does look transparent, but if you actually change the header, so for example, we change the header background to any color, it's going to have a white background, and that's not going to look very good. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you upload a transparent PNG file format. And what you can do if you do have a JPEG logo, you can go to a website called RemoveBG and upload image, and then click on open, and that's going to take a few seconds, and it's going to remove the sort of white background on it, and then you can download it as a PNG file format, and then from here you can upload it onto your website. So then when you change the header color, it's going to be transparent. So another tip that I do want to give is sometimes people upload a logo which doesn't fit the size of the header section. So as you can see, the header section is quite sort of narrow. It doesn't have such a big height on it. So therefore you want to create a logo that fits into that space, right? So think of your logo sort of like a fridge. And let's say if you're moving into a new house, sometimes you have a limited amount of space to put in your fridge, or, you know, maybe let's say you might even want to put like a bed in your bedroom, and you might have a limited amount of space. So you want to get something that fits into that space, right? Same with your logo. You want to make sure you manipulate it a little bit, so it's basically like horizontal in style, like that. For example, sometimes I see a lot of people upload a sort of really big type of square logo like this. And when you resize it, for example, like let's change it to 64, it creates a big space here. And yes, you can actually move the navigation down, but then again, I feel like it doesn't look as good. So you can perhaps manipulate it into a horizontal style, for example, like this, where you have the logo on the left-hand side, and then you have the text on the right-hand side. And if we change it to like 32, it's going to fit perfectly. You can also do something like just having the logo itself or the icon, and that's probably going to look even better. So that's definitely what a lot of websites will have, basically just the icon itself rather than like having any other text there. And yeah, for sure you can actually have the square logo on your other branding materials where you can actually fit that in. But for this section, what I do recommend is making sure that you keep a horizontal style, or perhaps just have the icon itself. So those are the two tips for people who do have a logo already. So if you don't have a logo, and I'm going to show you guys how to create one on Canva. So you can go to like a place like 99 Designs where you can submit a brief, and then a lot of different designers will actually come up with different designs, and you can launch a contest. So then, you know, people can submit their designs and you can choose the best one. This is what I recommend if you're creating something like a really professional website, and I've used this a few times and it's been really, really good. You can also use something like Fiverr.com. They do have different logo design services, probably starting from around $10 or maybe even $5, but I'm not really sure how good that's going to be, because obviously, it's so cheap. You want someone to actually really think about your brand and really create something that's really good. So yeah, you can look through these and you can look through 99 designs, but I'm going to show you how to create a quick one on canva.com. So what I recommend you doing is go to canva.com and you can log in with your Gmail, or I think connect it with your Facebook. And on the top over here, click on create a design. So on the bottom left, you can click on custom size, and we're going to set the custom size to something like 500 in width and maybe 100 in height, and create a new design. So as you can see, the layout is sort of horizontal style. And first of all, we can add a text. You can drop in a heading. So let's just say, for example, you add in your name or your brand name. And here we can change the font. So you have to be careful with the font that you actually choose, because each font has a different style. It's going to change the sort of feel and vibe of your website. So be careful, choose one which is sort of most related to your brand and what you want people to feel. So some of these fonts which have the crown icon on it, those are only available for the Canva Pro users. And I do think they have a free trial as well. So you can check that out if you want to. And you can change the font to whichever one that you like. And then we can manipulate the sizing over here. So let's just make sure that all the text fits in. So let's just try 50, I think 54 might be okay. So 54, and let's pull this out a little bit, okay? And then let's drag our logo up into the middle like that. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. So as you can see, there's kind of a little bit of white space on the top and on the bottom. I do want to kind of remove that, okay, a little bit as well. So for example, you can also add in different elements, and you can search for different things over here which have like different icons and things like that as well. And you can just drag it, like click it and just drag it on here, and then you can resize it. But generally for me, I'm not gonna do that, because with these icons, anyone can use these icons. And that's why I do recommend something more professional, where you do have someone who can actually create a unique sort of icon for your brand, rather than just choosing one from the library over here. But obviously, yes, you can if you're just starting out. So I'm not going to do that, but what we're going to do is I'm going to try and reduce as much white space as possible. So I'm going to go to magic switch on the top, and then go to custom size. And I'm going to reduce the size a little bit to about 80, the height. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue. Then I'm going to resize the design. Okay, so we might need to adjust the size again. So let's change it to 54 again. Pull it to the left over here. To the right. Let's move it up a little bit. Okay, something like that. So whenever you create a logo, you want to make sure you keep the white space to a minimum, because when you actually resize it over here, then it just resizes more proportionally. Otherwise, if you upload something that has a ton of white space, it's going to resize and it's going to look too small. So let's head back over here. And what you can do is you can also duplicate this. And then what you can do is you can also create like a light and then a dark version of your logo. Okay, so we change the text to white. And I'm going to drag this out, and I'm going to click on the background here. And I'm going to change it to maybe like a gray. Okay, so you can actually see that. Let's move that over here. And then what you can do is you can click on share over here and click on download, and then click on transparent background. So what I do recommend is, if you have the free trial available, just sign up for the free trial for I think 14 days or something like that. And then you can download it straight away as a transparent background, and then click on download. Just save it onto your computer. And then over here, you'll have the zip format. You might need to double click it to unzip it. and then you have your logo inside. Okay, so you have a dark version of that, which is transparent, and then you've also got a white version of that, which is also transparent. If you can't download the transparent file, then you have to use remove BG again, and you can figure that out yourself. It's quite easy, just upload it and it automatically turns it into a PNG. Go back over here. So you want to go to your customizer, and that's going to take you to Themify options. And then we can click on the site logo and tagline. And then if you don't want to create a logo, then you can also, just add your text in here, site title, and then you can play around and change the fonts on your website as well. Okay. Or you can click on logo image, and we can upload that logo that we just created. So upload files, select files, and then I'm going to choose these two and open, and then I'm going to upload this one, insert file, and then I'm going to have my name on the top just like that. So here, this is going to be the height, and I'm going to leave this empty and change it to 32. Okay, and then that should fit in, normally should fit in quite well. Okay, or you can adjust it however you like to maybe like 30 or something like that. So try to see which one is best for you. So that's how you resize it. Generally, you want to just keep this one as empty and resize the height only, so that it will automatically resize here, rather than trying to crop it out and things like that. So just do that, click close over here, and sometimes you may need to manipulate the menu navigation a little bit. Then you can go to menu navigation, and then we actually need to go to advanced settings, publish it first. Go to advanced and more options. Go to the menu navigation, and it's going to be the menu container. And you want to go to the margin. Okay, let's untick that. So here, sometimes you may need to adjust it, I think. So you can move it down like that. Okay, like 10 pixels. Generally, probably only need to move it a little bit. So then it's going to move down like that. Okay, and then you can click on publish. And that's basically how you add in your logo over here. So you can also do the same for your footer. So if you want to add your logo there, we can go to the footer. So let's go to footer, footer logo, logo image. And then let's say, for example, you do have a footer background which is a dark color, then we can upload the white version of it. Let's just resize it a little bit. Let's try 32 perhaps, like that. Footer wrap, let's say we change the background color to like a dark color. I think that looks okay, like that. And then so we can click on publish, right? So I'm actually gonna just delete that for now, delete that, and I'm gonna select just the site title, and for the background color, let's remove that for now. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to edit the footer in a second. Let's click on publish, and let's click on close. To add the favicon, we can go to the dashboard section. Okay, and to create a favicon, it's quite simple. Go to file and create a new design, custom size. Let's do the width to be 5112, 5112. So it's like a square format. Create a new design, and you can, add a element as before as an icon, or you could do like initials. So let's just do, for example, simple HC, and then select it, and then let's change the size. So it probably needs to be way bigger. So 100, or maybe even bigger. Let's try 240. Okay, let's move this to the left, and then move it there to the center, like that. So with this, you can choose a transparent PNG file format, or you can upload a JPEG. So many times people will have a background like that. So it basically kind of makes the sort of text a little bit easier to read when you do have kind of like a background. So I'm going to leave it as that. I might duplicate it. Let's just say, for example, we have a dark version of it. So black, and then choose the text here, change it to white. Okay, so I've got two versions. Let's just share, download. So we don't really need to download it as a transparent. You can, but let's just download it as a regular JPEG or PNG. Download, open that and unzip it. Let's come back over here to our dashboard section, Themify Ultra, Themify settings. And then here on the general tab, click on Favicon, click on upload, choose the file where you have downloaded the logo. So here is basically like the white version of it. So upload that and then click on save, and then head back to visit site. And then on the top over here, we will have the logo, or the favicon, sorry. And if we upload the other version of it, then I'll show you guys. Let's go Themify settings. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So we've completed step number 6 and step 7. So we're going to check that off and move on to step 8 and 9, where we're going to edit the header layout as well as the footer section, which is the bottom of your website. So for example, we're going to show you guys where you can actually change the layout on the header section, and also where you can change the layout for your footer section, as well as add in social media links on the bottom if that's what you want to do. So we can head back to our dashboard section. Then we can go to Themify Ultra, Themify settings, and then go to theme settings. And then we're going to go to theme appearance. And here we can edit the header design. So you can choose from a number of different header designs depending on what you personally want for your website. So for example, if we choose the header block, and I'm going to open this in a new tab, let's save it, and then let's refresh. So this is going to change the header design as well. So depending on what you want, so for example, if you want something like this, something more unique, then you can edit that as well. All right, so here I'm just going to keep it as the header horizontal, and you can also exclude certain things like the site tagline, the search form, which is essentially the search form over here. You can exclude it, and you can play around with the different settings. You can also change the mobile menu style as well. So if you want to see basically how that sort of looks like, then what you could do is you could go to your settings on the right hand side here, go to more tools, and then go to developer tools. And then from here, we can select the dimension. So for example, iPhone 14 Pro Max, and you can see how the mobile menu looks if you actually change the settings over here. Scrolling down over here, you can also change the footer design. So I'm going to select the footer block design, which is something like this, and let's go ahead and save, and then let's refresh it. Let's close the developer tools first, and you can see how that changes, right? So a common question that I get asked is, how do you remove this section over here, which is powered by WordPress, Themify WordPress themes? So what we need to do is we need to scroll down, and it's going to be the footer text over here. So here you can add whatever you want in the footer text 1 or footer text 2, but we're going to click on hide footer text 2, click on save, and then let's go back over here, refresh, and then basically that's going to disappear. Okay, you can also exclude the site logo too. So for example, let's go and exclude the site logo for the footer design, then we can click on save. Okay, so you can play around with the different settings. It's really dependent on you and how you sort of want to make your blog look. Okay, the next step is I'll show you guys where you can actually edit the social links. So if you want to add your social links in the footer section, which is a common thing that a lot of websites have, then I'll show you guys how to do that. So to add in your social media links, it's fairly easy. You'll need to head back to your Themify settings and then click on social links. And here is basically where you can add it in. So for example, you'll just paste in your Twitter profile URL. So I'm just going to put in a placeholder, just hashtag for now, but you just need to paste in your, for example, your channel URL, Facebook profile, and Pinterest. And let's say, for example, you have Instagram and you want to add that in. You can click on add link. And then from there, we can add in a title. So Instagram, And for example, if we have our Instagram profile URL, we can copy that to our clipboard and just paste it in over here. And here we can select an icon, so insert icon. And we're gonna click on the font awesome. Okay, and here we can search for it, so so over here, this one, and that's added in. So you can change the icon color and the background as well, but generally I just leave it as default because you can change that later on individually, or you can change it here if you want to as well. You can also click on the image tab, and essentially if you want sort of like a different sort of look to it, then you can upload your own custom designed icons as well. But I'm just going to keep it as the icon font over here. You can also rearrange the order by just clicking it and dragging it. Once you're done, click on save. Then before it's going to display on your footer section of your website, we need to add it onto the widget area. So we're going to go over appearance and then click on widgets. Let's close this and then scroll down to the footer social widget. So click on the button over there, click on plus, and then let's search for social. And then let's click on themify social links. And then over here, we can select it to open link in a new tab. So when people actually click into that, it's going to open up in a new tab rather than opening in your same tab. So let's click on update. And then let's go back over here. Let's refresh. And there's your social links. So what I mean by that is when people click on it, it's going to open up in a new tab. So that way, people can still stay on your website. Okay, so that's basically it. Now, in terms of the colors and the settings over here, I'm going to walk you through that a little bit later. It's basically in the customize section, because basically what we're going to do is sort of like build the structure of our blog and website first. And then towards the end of the video, we'll start changing the colors, because I'll also talk about colors a little bit and how to actually apply it onto your website so it actually looks good. Because sometimes, if you start adding colors now, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, because like you don't really understand like how, where to add the colors, and then you sort of add it in as you go. And sometimes your website is going to turn out like really ugly because you aren't really following a set theme. So I'll just go through basically where you can actually change the colors if you want to know now. It's basically the header section here, over here. And this is the header wrap, which is the background color. And then if you want to change like the header links and the header fonts, this is the settings over here. And on the footer section, you can change the footer background, which is the footer wrap, and you've got your footer links and things like that over here. Okay, so that's basically where you can actually change it, but I'll walk you through that towards the end of the video. So let's click on back over here. And one last thing is, how do you achieve this sort of animated background color changing? So we can go back over here and go to the dashboard. And this is actually a setting in Themify Ultra. So hover over here, theme settings, and let's go over here, theme settings, animated background colors, and we can set in the animated colors in the footer. Okay, so by default, they've also got colors selected, pre-selected already, so you don't have to actually select it. But if you do want to manually select it, you can also do that as well, just by clicking over here. And then click on save. And let's go back to our home page. And as you can see, the colors is basically changing. So what I'm going to walk you through now is essentially how to use the builder to build out your hero section over here. Okay, so we're going to start building now. And then after that, I'll show you guys how to add in your blog post. So I do really want to, go through this tutorial in sort of like a structure so that you can sort of skip to any part and watch it, understand it, and then also just apply it without it being like all over the place, right? So there's a lot of videos which, go and skip a lot of different things, and really you're not really sure what's happening. So let's just go through over here, and we've done these two already. And let's just check these two off, and let's go through the builder basics and build out your homepage layout right now. So what you want to do is turn on the builder, and here what we're going to do is hover over this section, which is going to be your row, and we can click on the styling option here. So it's the little paintbrush, and then click on background. And then here for the background image type, you can select image. You can also select a gradient as well as a video. So you'll need to upload a YouTube video, and you can also select a slider. So let's just say, for example, we want to add a slider, then we can go ahead and insert gallery. So below this video, there's going to be a download link, which you can actually download the images to follow along with this tutorial. So you can download it onto your computer, and then we can upload those images. So let's go over here, and I'm going to go ahead and find the images. So this one's going to be the hero slider images. We're going to select that and open. So you can also download your own images from a website called Unsplash, which you're able to use the images copyright free, and you can use it for personal or commercial purposes. And there's also another website that I like, which is Adobe stock images. Those are paid images, but you do get more specific type of images as well. So once you've uploaded those images, you can click on add to gallery and update gallery, and that's basically going to set it in. So what we want to do is, for the image size, I'm going to select it as the original image size, full cover. Slider speed, you can change it to normal, fast, or slow. Let's just keep it as normal. So as you can see right now, we can't really see the image. So what we want to do is hover over here, and you're going to notice a purple sort of overlay, and you can click it and you can drag it. So basically that's going to add padding, which is spacing. So we can do the same for the bottom as well. So just click it and then pull it and pull it down. Let's just do maybe 230 or something like that. Okay, let's just pull it down, 230. Make sure whatever you do to the top, you should do to the bottom. Okay, and you can also click it. So you can click it and you can actually type the number in as well. So if you can't pull it exactly, click it and type it in. Okay, then the other thing that we want to do is over here, as you can see, the image, it doesn't go all the way across on the left and the right, and also it doesn't go on the top as well. So you can go to the row options over here, and you can set the row width, okay? And that's going to basically go full width. But what you're going to notice is that there's also going to be space on the top. So let's click on save first. And then let's go to the back end. So click on back end. And then what you can do is, for the page layout, you can set it to the full width layout like this, right? So we can update it, and then we can view page over here, or we can just click the URL as well, like that. And it's going to open. And then as you can see, there is no space on the top. So there's also another way that you can do it. So if we head back over here, and let's click on the WordPress logo on the top. Go to Themify Ultra, Themify settings, go to the default layouts, default page layout, and instead of the no sidebar option, we can actually select the full width. So for all the pages that you create, it's always going to be full width by default. Okay, so that's if you want to do that, which I'm actually going to do. Okay, or you can just select the no sidebar one, which basically will have the space, and you'll have to do that manually. Okay, let's click on save and then go back over here. And what we could do is just refresh that first. Okay, and then we can turn on Builder. So let's add in some text in here. So on the left hand side, we have all these different modules, and you can click it and drag it in. So the first module that we're going to add is going to be a text. So click it and just drag it and drop it. And then over here, we can set in the text. So let's just say, for example, make a blog. So select the text, set it to heading 1. Okay, so generally for each page, you should only have one heading 1 font set in. Okay, so that's for the search engine purposes. And normally it's going to be the most important keyword that you're targeting for that specific page. So in my second part video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So let's just set this in for now. And what you can do is go to styling, go to font, and then text align to the middle. Okay. And then here we can also change the color as well, like that. And you can also click it, and then you can also edit the headings from here. You can also text align it, bold it, change the color directly using this little panel area. So the next thing that I want to do is make sure that the size of the text is a little bit bigger. So right now it's kind of small, can't really see it. Let's go to styling and then go to general. Okay, click on that tab there, go to heading. So we're going to set a specific font for the heading 1 font here. So what we can do is we're going to leave the font as default. I'm going to change the font size. So for example, I might set it to, let's try 90 and see how that looks. Okay, so not too bad, 90, or you could do maybe a little bit bigger, like 100. And as you can see, we can't really see that text because it's white. So what you can actually do is you can actually add something called the text shadow. So here, we can set 1, oops. So let's delete that, 1. And then for the blur, let's add 5 pixels. And then over here, we're going to select the color. So select black, okay? And then what you want to do is drop the opacity down to like 0.30, like that. So around 30% opacity. And then what you could do is we can click on done, save it, and let's close it for now so we can have a quick look at how that looks. You can also use the preview button. So as you can see, that makes it pop a little bit better. So let's just turn that on again. And instead of exiting, you can also click on the preview button. So this one over here, and hopefully that will actually give you a good preview as well without you saving and exiting the builder. You can click that back again. And you can also make the text pop even more by adding in a background overlay. So you can click on the row here, click on the paintbrush, row overlay, select the black color, okay? And you want to drop the opacity down. So let's just do like perhaps 0.20, like 20% opacity. And then we can do a little preview. Okay, so that's basically how that's going to look. And as you can see, that makes that text pop even better. So let's click back over here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is add in a subheadline. So to add in a subheadline, you can drag in a text module, or you can actually duplicate this current text module here. So we can click on duplicate, and you can actually duplicate different elements as well as different rows as well, and different sections. So over here, we can click into that. You can make the text edit here, or you can just click into it and you can edit it directly here as well. So for example, let's just delete that. So I'm gonna change the heading. So, okay, let's just type something first. So make a WordPress blog. So let's just do WordPress tutorial and then select this text. And here we're gonna change it back to the paragraph format. And here we can also click on the font and you can select the fonts over here. But generally I'm going to go to the styling on the left, click on font. And then here I'm going to change the font size. So perhaps let's just do 28. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. So let's just try 32. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So as you can see, there is going to be a bit of space over here. And this is actually taken up by this module. So what we want to do is we want to reduce that spacing. So click into this top text module, click on edit, click on styling, and then click on margin. So for this margin, what we want to do is to reduce the space. So we want to do a negative margin on the bottom. So we could do -20, okay? And that's going to move it up like that. You could also increase it to maybe -24, something like that. So I think that looks pretty good at the moment. It depends on the size of the text, but I think that's pretty good. You can also reduce it more if you need to. And so with the margin and the padding, there's going to be a little bit of a difference. So the padding is basically going to be the space inside the sort of box. Okay, so as you can see right now, for example, we've added this space to the hero image. That's going to be the padding. Okay, that's inside the box. Now, if we actually add, let's say, for example, we click on the purple, okay, the styling here, and we click on the margin over here, and let's just add 100 pixels. So that margin is going to be outside of that purple box. Okay, so that's margin. So difference between margin and padding is that padding is inside the box and the margin is going to be outside. So generally when I'm using margin, most of the time I'm using it to do a negative margin, just like what we've did before. And most of the time I'm going to be using padding to add space within the box or the sort of element. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And what I'm going to show you now is click on done to add a button. So let's just add a button in there. So drop it below. Here we have the button text, so you can click it and we can change it. So for example, it could be like learn more, or it could be like read more, or go to the blog, and you can change the title. Then you can also change the link here. So for example, we want people to link to the blog page. So over here, we can right click the blog and then copy a link address and then just paste it in here. So then when people click on that, it's going to link to that specific page. So you can select it to open a link in the same window, lightbox, or a new tab. Let's just keep it as is. And here we can change the color. Okay, so you can play around with the different colors. I'm going to keep it as the default for now. And you can also add an icon, but I'm just going to keep it as is. Click on button appearance. You can also change the size. So let's just keep it as the default. You can also change the shape as well. So for example, this rounded shape looks pretty good. You can also change it to outline or a transparent. And yeah, so you can also add a downloadable one. So for example, you want people to download a PDF, then you'll add the PDF link here. And when people click on that, it's going to download. Okay, so if you have a PDF, you can actually upload it into the WordPress media library, and you can grab the link and then paste it into here. Let's click on disable for that for now, because we're not linking it to a specific download. And we want to move this into the middle. So how can we do that? We can go to the styling, font, and let's click on center. And that's going to move the button to the middle, just like that. So another thing that people often ask is, how do you add two buttons there, right? So what you can do is we can grab a row. So this row here has two columns, and we can drop it below that. And let's click on this button and drop it in there like that. And then duplicate it, drag this button on the right-hand side like that. And then next we click into the first button, styling, font, and align it to the right. And then for the second button, click on it, edit, styling, font, align it to the left. So here we can also click into that and we can also edit that. So this could be like, let's say contact, or it could be like making a booking, contact us, something like that. And then you can link it to the contact page, for example. So we probably want to change the button color. Okay, so it's a little bit different from that one over here. Now, if you want to edit it to be a little bit closer, so if there's a little bit too much gap, what you can do is hover over here, this pink, and then over here, we can actually click on the narrow gutter, and that's going to move that a little bit closer. Okay, so the spacing is going to be less. So I think that looks pretty good. And if you want to change the color specifically for the button, click into the button, go to styling, go to general, button link, and here we can update the color specifically. So for example, if we have orange, we can change it. Link, let's change the link color to white like that. And then you can also click on hover and you can change the hover color as well. So for example, something like that. Okay, and we can click on preview. Okay, and that's basically how you can actually change the button color specifically. So we'll do that probably a little bit later on, but I just wanted to show you quickly where you can actually do that. So let's just remove that for now and keep it as default. So click on done, save, and close. So finally, we've finished step number 10 and we're ready to add in a blog post. So I know you guys have been probably waiting for this for a long time, but I really wanted to cover everything before we actually add in the blog post. So step number 11, let's go ahead and add it. Let's go back here. You can add it a few ways. You can hover over here on the plus new and click on post, or you can also go to the dashboard area and you can navigate to the post as well. So for example, click on the dashboard area here, okay, and you can click on post. From here, you can click on add new post. So those are the two main ways that you can do it. You can also do it within here as well. So plus new and click on post to add a new post. So let's click on add new post. So below this video, I've also included a link with the Google Docs with some of the sample blog posts that you can actually use to add in. So we're basically going to add this in first so that you have some content to work with when you're actually displaying your blog post. So don't worry about, starting to write your blog post right now. Just focus on the design first, and then you can update your blog post later on. So you can also go to ChatGPT and you can also ask it to write blog post as your sort of dummy content. So you could do like, write a 500 word blog post about the top 5 things to do in Japan. Click on enter, and that's gonna basically generate some content that you can use. So obviously I don't recommend just copy and pasting everything that you get from ChatGPT, because that is probably gonna impact your search rankings, because it's probably gonna be duplicate content. You do want to add your own sort of unique take on it, but as an example, we're just gonna add in these sample blog posts. So here we can just add in the title. So copy it, come back here, paste it in on the top. And then what we could do is click on the categories here. So click on the categories, and we're going to set a new category. So this one is going to be, for example, just stories. Add new category, scroll down. You can also add some tags. We're going to set in a featured image. So again, you should have downloaded the images that you can actually add on as well, or you can upload your own. And click on upload files, select files. And we're going to go to the blog post. Okay, and I'm going to select all these images here, and then I'm going to click on open, and I'm going to select the post 1 image, which is this one of the grab driver. Click on set featured image, and then here that is done. For the excerpt, it's basically sort of like the summary of your page. You can add that in, which is optional. I'm going to leave it as default for now. And discussion here, you can allow comments and things like that, or disable it. So once that is done, we can click on publish. And depending on if you actually set it to do a publish check, you will have to click it again, but I've just disabled that earlier when we created our pages. So here we can click on the view page, which will be on the bottom here, or you can just click on the URL and click over here, and that's going to take you to your blog post. So to add in your content, we can click on turn on builder. And what I do recommend is, if you're writing a blog post, don't write it directly on your WordPress website. I recommend writing it on like Google Docs or somewhere externally first, where it's saved onto the cloud, and then you can add in your content. So just in case anything goes wrong, then at least you have all your content saved properly. So over here, as you can see, we have all these different modules that you can add in, just like when we were building out our homepage. So in this case, we're going to drop in a text module. So drop that in. And let's go back over here, and you can add that content in. So for example, let's just copy that content. So scroll down over here, copy that all to our clipboard, come back over here, and we can go ahead and just paste in and match style. And then you can also click into it directly here, and you can start formatting that so that it's easy for your viewers to sort of read your content. So we can change that, and you can also set it to, perhaps this one could be like heading 3s. Okay, so heading 3s like that actually. So let's just do that quickly. So let's just click on preview, zoom out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good for our content. And you can also click on here, let's click on done. You can also add in images, videos, anything that you like. So for example, if you wanted to add in a video, so you could drop it in down here, and then you can paste in your YouTube URL, and then you have your video there. And you can also drop in an image, so you can drop that in there as well and upload your image, and then it's going to show there. If you wanted to sort of add in your image in between that text, then perhaps you could separate your content into 2 text modules. So it's really customizable in how you want to sort of edit it, okay? Because we have this builder section over here, and you can literally do everything just by looking at it. So once you're done, click on save, and then we're going to close, and I'll show you guys how to add in another blog post, and then you can add in a few. So what I do recommend is probably adding at least 6 blog posts so that we have some content to actually display on our website. So let's head back over here, click on and hover over here on the plus new, click on post, and let's add in the post number 2. So unlocking the secrets, how to make money with blogging, copy, paste that in, add new category. So this category name could be about blogging, or it could be about finances or making money. Click on add new category. So it's important to separate the categories so that later on you can sort of, easily make sure that people can find your content by clicking on different categories. So set that in properly and set in a featured image. So this one's going to be the post 2. So I think it's this one over here, post number 2. And the size of the image is around 1,200 by around 800. And generally what you want to do is you want to keep them all the same size like this. As you can see, I've cropped them all to the same size. So there are different tools online that you can use if you're not using like Adobe. You can use Canva to do it, and there are other free tools as well to sort of crop your image sizes. And with these images, I basically have downloaded them from Unsplash, so you can check that out. But if you do have unique images that you've taken yourself, I think that's even better. So let's just add that in, set featured image, and then we can click on publish. Let's click on view post. So you can click it over here, or you can scroll back up and click the link here. And then I'm going to copy the content to our clipboard. So copy that, come back over here. Okay, so what we can do is turn on the builder, and then we're going to drag in another text module over here. Then you can also just paste in the content like that, but it's going to leave some spacing there. That might not look very good. So let's just Control or Command Z. Okay, to undo that, let's just paste and match style like that. And then you can go ahead and set these to the heading 3. Okay, so you can do that for each of them. So you can also link different words to different pages on your website, or perhaps an external link, or maybe even an affiliate link by clicking on link and pasting in the URL over here. You can also, for example, you can also do it, and edit the text from here as well. So selecting it, clicking on the link, and then here we can click on the link options. You can type in or paste in the URL, or you can search for a specific content that you have on your website already. For example, we want to link it to this blog post, and it's going to select it, or you can just start typing in the title there as well, and then add link. Okay, so here we can click on save, and then I'm going to click on close. And basically right now I'm going to add in the rest of the sample blog post, and hopefully you guys can do the same. At least add in 6, so then we can actually display the content on our homepage like that. Okay, so it looks really nice. So what I want to show you guys is how to add in your social media icons, which allow your visitors to share your post or your pages. So there's actually 2 ways of doing it. So the first way is very simple. So if you just want to share the individual page only, then you would just drag in the social share module just like that, and you can play around with the different sizes as well as the icon shape. And you can also style it further by going to styling and editing it over here. So the second way of doing it is basically it will actually show for all your blog posts. So this is the way that I personally prefer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our dashboard, and what we're going to use is the layout parts and also the hook content. So navigate to your dashboard, hover over here, and then click on layout parts. And then I've actually already created mine, social share blog post. And from here, you can just click on add new, and then you'll just need to add in the title, and then click on publish on the right hand side. Once you've done that, you'll click on the permalink here, and that's going to take you to the front end. So from here, we can click on turn on builder, and all you need to do is to drop in a social share module in here. So you can click into it and you can edit it however you like. And then once you're done, click on save, and we can close that. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to copy the shortcode. So to copy the shortcode, click on edit layout part, and then scroll down to the right hand side here. Just copy the shortcode. Both of them will do. So I'm just going to choose the first one. Let's go over here to themify settings. and then you can go to the hook content, scroll down, click on add item, and I've actually already added this one over here. So once you've clicked on add item, you can click on see hook locations, and let's say for example you want to add it to all the blog posts. We can go ahead and click into that, and then you can select the location that you want it. So in this case, I want to display it after the post title, and then you can just click on it, and then that's set in, and then just paste in the shortcode, and then you can save. You can also add in specific conditions if you want to set it to display on specific posts or specific categories. So here, let's go navigate to our post, and basically it should appear just after the title like that. And what's cool is you can actually click into that and edit the layout part directly, and you can change the styling or whatever you want here as well. Okay, so I've just added in a few more blog posts. Obviously you don't need to add this much, but if you have like 6 blog posts, then I think that's good enough so that we can actually have something to display when we display our blog post on our homepage. So we're going to turn on the builder, and what we want to do is we want to create a section to display our blog post and a section for our sidebar. So what we can do is hover over here on the row, and we want to set in the columns. So the column that I'm going to select is this one. So 75 by 25, 2 columns. And if you do want to adjust the width of it, you can also select it as well, and you can pull it and drag it in like that, or drag it like that as well inside there to make it a little bit skinnier. So that really depends on you, but I'm going to keep it as just the default. I think that looks good enough. And here we're going to click the post module and drag it and drop it into the section. So over here, we can select the specific categories that we want to display. So for example, if we just want to display travel, we can select it and it'll only show the travel category in the blog post section. And I'm just going to select all. And if you do want to sort of exclude certain categories, you'll need the slug or the category ID, which I'll show you how to find that in a second. And that way you can actually remove certain categories if you want to. So for the post layout, this is basically how it's going to display here. So I'm going to select grid number 2. So you can select any one that you like, but that's my preference. And I'm going to select the post filter. So the post filter is essentially going to show the categories on the top. So then when people click on it, it's going to only display that. So this is great if you have a lot of blog posts, and it allows people to sort of filter the categories. So for example, if we go to the preview mode, so if we click on stories, then it's just going to display that. So if you actually notice here, it doesn't actually show all the categories. So if you want to show all the categories, then you want to select the Ajax filter, and that's basically going to enable, if people select it, it's going to enable all the blog post. So if you just select the post filter, it's only going to pull the categories from what is actually displaying here. So only the travel category and the stories. If you select the Ajax filter, it's going to pull from all categories that you actually have. So generally I would select that one. And I would also recommend selecting the aligned post. So sometimes if you have longer titles, then it may actually sort of move the sort of post down. So yeah, so I highly recommend selecting that one. And then basically we're going to select the number of posts to 6. And then you can also order by date and things like that. I'm going to display as excerpt. So the excerpt length, I might do like 30 characters, 30 words, sorry. And then here you can also adjust the featured image size, but I'm going to leave that as default. You can also hide the post date like that. And if you want to hide the post meta, we can hide it like that. You can also hide certain things as well, like the author or like the category. That really depends on you. And you can also add a pagination as well. So basically on the bottom here, it's going to show the pages. But if you actually select the Ajax filter, then it's going to basically just show the load more. Okay. But if you don't select it, then it's going to show it like that. So if we select the Ajax filter, so it's just going to display like that. So we're going to turn on the builder. Let's click into it again. And And yeah, so basically that's it. And here we've also got the styling options, so you can edit the styling for each of the individual sections if you want to as well. Let's go back to our dashboard area and I'll show you where you can find the category ID. So if you want to sort of exclude certain categories, you can do that. So let's go back to our dashboard. Let's go to posts and then click on categories. And then here we can find the slug and also the category ID number. Generally, the slug is probably just going to be the same as the name of your category, okay, like that. So it's probably easier to use the slug because the category ID, it's just hard to remember which one is which. But if the slug is the exact same name as the category, then it's just super easy for you to exclude. So for example, if I want to exclude the stories category like that, I will just go to visit site here. Let's turn on the builder and then click into here. Then we're going to exclude. So we're going to do a minus and then just minus stories. And then I'm going to click outside here. So then as you can see, the stories category has disappeared. So that is looking great. So I'm just going to delete that and then I'm going to click on done. So what we're going to do is also add a little bit of padding. So for this row, I'm going to click it and drag it. So let's just do like 50 pixels. I'm going to click into there, 50. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so what I want to show you now is how to add in the content for your sidebar section. So for example, your images, text, social media, and the must read blog post. So let's head back over here and let's go ahead and check off what we've done so far. So we have done step number 11 and step number 12. So let's just check that off. And I think we are pretty much halfway through the tutorial. So let's go back over here. And what we're going to do first is we can drop in any module that you see here. So you can really customize it however you like. So first of all, I'm going to drop in an image. And then I'm going to go to upload files, select files. And there's also a folder with the profile pictures that you can use. So you can upload that one here. I've got my image, but I've actually used a tool called the PFP Maker. So for example, I'm going to select, let's see, maybe this image here, open. So this is the PFP Maker. It's a free tool, which basically you can upload just any image of yourself and it sort of enhances a little bit and it changes the background. I think it's really, really cool. So make sure you check that out. So I've uploaded my image and just insert file URL. And here you can play around with the different appearance settings, the size settings as well, but I think that's looking pretty good. Then what we could do is just click on done. And the next section is I'm going to add in some text. So we're going to drop in a text module. So just drop it in below your image. So here it's going to be about me. And then I'm going to set this to heading 4. And then I'm going to add a little padding to the top. So maybe let's like do 24. Okay, so for some reason this thing is covering it, but we can actually edit this on the side over here on the left hand side as well. So let's just click on edit again, and I'm just going to paste in the text from here. So you can write maybe like 3 sentences or 2 sentences about yourself and just paste that in. Then to add in your social media, we can drop in the widget module. So drop that in below there. And we're going to select the widget. So here we're going to search for social. And then we're going to drop in this one, themify social links. And here are your social links. So we're going to open link in a new window. So when people click on it, it's going to open in a new tab. And you can also add in a title too. So for example, follow me. So you can do that, or you don't have to have the title. It's really dependent on what you want. Click on done. And the next part is adding in the must read blog post. So we can do that. We could just drop in the text module as well. And here we can do must reads of 2024. Select it, set it to heading 4, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on save first. And then I'm going to close first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the blog post that I want to display over here. So let's say, for example, we go to blogging, and then we could just open this one, and maybe let's open this one as well. And then we could go to the travel category. Let's add in this one, and maybe this one as well. And then let's go back over here and turn on the builder. So what we're going to do is just basically, we just need the title. So I'm going to go over here and just copy the title name, copy that to your clipboard, come back here, edit, hit on enter, and then paste and match style. Then I'm going to do the same for the rest. So copy, paste and match style, enter, and then we're gonna select this one, copy, last one here, and then paste that in. So what we're going to do now is to link it. So we can select the text, and then we can click on the insert link. So what we can do here is there's a few ways of doing it. So you can either just copy the link directly from here, just copy that and just paste that in and then apply. Alternatively, you can also select it, select link, and then you can start typing the title. So a comprehensive, okay, and then it's gonna pop up. So it's this one over here. So select that one and then click on apply. Same over here. So click on that one. You can also click on the link options. So here, it may be easier for you to use this one and then discovering the, okay, so it's this one and then add link and then same one for here. There we go, add link, and there we have it. So the only other thing that we need to do is probably just add a little bit of padding there as well. So let's set this to 24, like that, and click on save. So that is pretty easy. So here we can add in like a ad placement. For example, you may have a affiliate banner. For example, you might be promoting a specific tool or a product, and then you can have an affiliate link. So for example, let's just say what we could do is we could drop in an image. So we can drop in an image like here and then upload files, like files. Then this one is going to be the advertisement banner, MailChimp, open, insert file URL. And then here we have the image. So pretend that is your banner for your advertisement. And then here we can basically put in the image link. So you can copy in the affiliate link and paste it into here. So for example, let's just copy the URL here and then pretend that's an affiliate link. Click on done. So when people click on that and if people purchase, then you may receive a commission for that sale. So the next section I want to show you guys is this section here. So I actually see this quite a lot on a lot of blogging websites where they have categories and then it's sort of with the title in the picture like that. So for example, something like from this blog, Pinch of Yum, it's a popular recipe blog where they have the picture and then you've got the title in the picture like that, and then it links to that specific category. So how can you actually achieve that for your own website here? So I want to show you that. So to actually achieve that design, first of all, we need to create the image, and we can create the image on something like canva.com, or you can use Photoshop or other photo editing softwares to create it. So essentially what we've done is we have created a canvas size of around 500 pixels times 250. So this is the size that I'm going to use, but you can choose different sizes as well. And then basically I have uploaded the images that I wanted. So for example here, and we can just drag and drop it in there. Just resize the image and move the image to where you want. Then we can add in an element. So add in an element here like this and just drag it across. And then we can move it into the middle like that. Then we could drag in a text module. So you can just drag in a heading here, and we can just type in the category that we want. So this one, luxury travel, perhaps like this. And then we can just move it into the middle. Probably need to expand the background a little bit too. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Then we can change the text color and also the background color. So I'm going to choose this blue, just like that. And I think that looks pretty good. And then you can just download that onto your computer. And then you can come back to your website here. So then, for example, what we could do is we could, first of all, we could drop in a text module here, there, and then we can type in categories, set this to heading 4. Let's move the padding down a little bit, so like 24, 25. Okay, then what we want to do is drop in an image module. So let's find the image module here, drop that in, upload files, select files, and we're going to select the category banners, and we can upload those. So those are actually included in the download link below as well. So for example, we can upload that one first, and let's just duplicate that a few times. Let's edit here. Let's just change the image, and same thing here, edit and change the image too. And then what we could do is add a little bit of spacing on the top as well. Okay, something like that. And then what we could do is we can link those to the categories. So how we would do that is we will find the category link. So for example, if we want to link it to the travel category, as you can see, we can hover over that and then you can actually see the URL. So you can right click it. Okay, so what we need to do is click on the preview, right click, copy link address, turn off the preview, come back over here, edit, and then you could paste the link in here. Okay, click on done and then save. So you can do the same for the rest of these categories. Scroll down over here, and then if we click on that, then it's going to link to the travel category. So let's click back over here, and I'll show you one other way to display it. So let's turn on the builder, and so what if you want to display it like this? So to do that, it's quite simple. Let's head back over here, and what we can do is drop in a 3-column row. So drop it above here like this, and then what we could do is we can also just zoom out the screen a little bit so it just makes it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to just move that over, and then you can just put that there just like that, and then you can do the same here, duplicate that one, drag it and just move it across, and then the other one here. Okay, and then I'm gonna just reduce the padding there because you don't need that anymore. Yep, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's just zoom back in. Okay, don't need that padding there. Let's remove that one. Set that to 0. So what I'm gonna do is hover over here, and as you can see, you've got that pink hover. So I'm gonna click it and then add some padding. So perhaps we could do around 40 pixels or so, like that. So I'm gonna type that in. Okay, I think that's good enough, and just click on save. So that is pretty much it. If you wanted to do a category section like this, where you show it on the top, or you can also do something like that. So yeah, hopefully that has given you some idea of how you can actually display different layouts on your website. Step number 13 is done, so let's just check that off. And now what I'm going to show you guys is how to add in your email opt-in for your blog. So what we need to do first of all is to use something like MailChimp. So it's email marketing software, and you can use other ones as well, but the setup process is going to be fairly similar. We just basically need to connect the email software to our website. So what we need to do here for MailChimp specifically, we just click over here and click on account and billing. For example, if you're using some other ones, then what you can actually do is you can use the search function, and we want to look for the API keys. So click on extras and click on API keys. If you can't find it, then use the search function to search for API keys. And all we need to do is to connect it. So we can create a new key and the API key name. So this could be like your website name. So next creator, generate key. Copy that key to your clipboard. Let's come back to our website here. Let's head to the dashboard section. So we need to paste the API key into the Themify settings. So let's head back here to our dashboard section. Then hover over Themify Ultra, click on Themify settings. Click on the integration API. And then for the opt-in, click on MailChimp, paste it in, and then save. So it's going to work fairly similar for the other ones. So you can just click on it and paste in the information that they require, and then just click on save. Once you've done that, then click on visit site. Then we can turn on the builder. Scroll down to the bottom. So we're going to add the email opt-in in this section down here. So what we can do is look for the opt-in form, click it, and just drag it in like that. And here we can choose the layout. So this is the one that I generally prefer, just a simple horizontal one. And here we can select the opt-in provider. You can select the list. So I think you do have to create the list, or also known as the audience, if you haven't done that already. And you can select which list that it's going to be under. So when people submit the email, they can be directed to the right list. So over here, we can also edit the labels. So for example, we can hide it. Okay, you can also delete this, and then you can put the name in there, like as the placeholder, like that. We can hide the last name. Okay, and then for example, we can also copy that, put that as a placeholder, and delete that. That might look a little bit cleaner. So you can do that, and you can also change the subscribe or submit button name as well. I'm just going to keep it as that for now. And you can also click on the success action. So you can drop in a different message here, or if they subscribe, then you can also redirect them to a specific URL if that's what you want to do. I'm just going to keep it as the default. And then what we could do is we can basically style it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a module title. So we're going to do sign up for our weekly newsletter. I'm just going to copy that, and you can just type that in. So it's not loading right now, but don't worry about that. Let's click on done first, save it, and then I'm going to close it. Okay, so that is there, the title. So what I want to do is make it look something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some spacing, change the font size, as well as basically add this light gray background. So what we could do is turn on the builder again. Let's go here, and we're going to click into that, click into styling, and for the background, we're going to set in a background color. So this is going to be a light gray. So F6, F6, F6. So this is a good color to start off with. And then I'm going to add some padding. So click on padding, and we're going to add some padding to the top. So let's just try 50, see how that looks. 50 to the bottom too. And maybe the left hand side and right hand side, we could do 50. Oops, 50, something like that. Maybe let's just try 60 for the sides. Okay. And then what we could do is let's make sure that for the font, so the font here, let's align it to the center. And then what we can do is perhaps change the font size. So let's just try 36. Okay, so that's changing the whole entire font. Let's go to the general tab here, module title, font. Let's try this again, 36. Okay, so I think that looks better. And then you can also change the color of it as well. So we can edit that later, or you can edit that now. So for example, we can change it like that. Okay, I'm just going to keep it as default for now. And another thing that I want to do is I want to edit the fields. So let's go to here, go to the input fields. And for the border, I'm going to set it to all, and I'm going to set it to none. So essentially it doesn't have that border and just has a very, very clean look. And that looks very nice. So then we can click on done. And I think that looks pretty good. So we could do that. You can also round the corners as well. So let's just try this. So edit, and then we could go here, and then we could go to the corners. So perhaps we could add a rounded corner as well. So that makes it look kind of stylish as well. Okay, so I'm just showing you the possibilities here. Maybe I might just change it all to around 20. So you're gonna link it, okay, all to around 20. So I think that looks pretty good. Then we're gonna click on save. So one thing I wanna show you guys is I'm gonna go over here and hover over the 3 dots, and I'm gonna click on save. So I'm gonna save this as a layout part, and then I'm gonna title it as well. So I'm gonna name it, and we're gonna do email opt-in, and I'm just gonna call this main, and then click on done. So this is gonna be saved as a layout part, and basically when you save a layout part, you can use that layout part elsewhere on your website as well without sort of redesigning it again. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's click on save and close. So let's just say, for example, you want to add the email opt-in for your blog page. So you may want to display it down here. So we can turn on the builder, and then we can add that layout part there. So we could go to the saved, and then we can click on the layout parts, email opt-in main, and we can drop it below like that. And then here, that means people can sign up for your newsletter as well without redesigning it again. So another cool tip that I do want to show you guys, which I think is kind of important, because as you can see, we've added it to this blog post, but what if you want it for all your blog posts? So if we click over here, then scrolling down, it doesn't display for this blog post, and you have to add it individually as well. So what we can actually do is we can actually go to the dashboard, and we can go to Themify Ultra, Themify settings, and we can use something called the hook content. So click on hook content, click on add item, and then what we could do is we can go to see hook locations. And what we want to do is we want to click into a blog post, and then we can see where we want to add the email opt-in. So I'm going to add it at the post end. So I'm going to click it, and it's going to set the location here. And what we want to do is to paste the layout part into here. So how we can actually do that is go to layout parts. So right click and open link in a new tab. And what we need to do is just paste in the shortcode. So just copy that to your clipboard, copy that, and then just paste it into here. And then click on save. So then right now, if we go back and visit site, and we go to a random blog post, for example, this one here, and we scroll down, then it's going to appear. So the hook content is actually a really, really useful feature because you don't have to download like another plugin and additional code or whatever. It's really, really easy to actually use. So you can actually edit and add conditions as well. So you can set it to appear on certain category pages. It's a very useful feature. So we're going to click on save, and I'll show you a little bit later on. So that's basically it for adding your email opt-in. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to add in your Instagram feeds. So if you want to add in your Instagram feed, first thing to do is to log into your Instagram account. And once you've logged in, then you can go back to your website and then go to plugins. Then here, we're going to click on add new, and we're going to search for a plugin. So Instagram feed, and then click on enter. And it should be this one, the first one by Smash Balloon. It has over 1 million active installations. Click on install and then activate. From here, we can click on the launch setup wizard, and we're going to connect the Instagram account. So click on add new, select the account that you are connecting. I'm going to select personal for this case. I'm going to untick this, and then click on connect. I'm going to click on allow, and I'm going to select yes, it is my domain. Okay, so it looks like that has been connected. Then click on next. And here, basically, we have the configuration features. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to install these at the moment. So basically, it's going to install some more plugins. I'm going to disable that, and also going to disable the custom review one as well for now. So you can install that later on if you need. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on next. And again, they're asking if you want to install some more plugins. I'm not going to do that for now. And I think that is all good to go. So then we're going to just click on complete setup without upgrading. So the next thing that we need to do is to create our feed. So click on add new. And I'm just going to select the first one here. So click on next. And then we're going to pull it from the Instagram account that we just added. Click on next. So I'm going to close this for now. So here on the left hand side, we can actually configure how your Instagram feed looks. So we can go to feed layout, and these ones are the pro options. So we do have the first option available for the free version of this plugin. And here we're going to scroll down, and I'm going to display the number of posts for desktop, just 8. And for mobile, I might just display 4. And for the columns, I'm going to keep it as 4, 2, and then I think that's going to be mobile, it's just going to be 1. So that is good. Then we can scroll back up, click on back, and then here we can change the color scheme. So you can choose it from like a light to dark one or a custom. I'm going to keep it just inherit from theme. Click on back here, and then here we can click on the header, and we can actually customize a few things. So we can change the header size to small, medium, or large. So you can actually remove that too. So if you do want to remove that, then what we can do is we can just disable that. Click on back here, then click on the post, images and video. So I'm just going to keep that as default. Let's go back here, load more button. So this is the button here. So we can click on that, and you can change the text. You can also change the color. I'm just going to keep it as default for now, or you can disable it. Click on back here, and then you can also change the follow button as well, and you can also disable it if you want to. Let's go back over here, and if it's looking all good, then what you can do is do a quick little preview on how that actually looks on each of the devices. And once you're ready, we're going to click on save. So we can click on the embed, and all we need to do is copy this shortcode. So we can click on the copy, and that's going to copy over. Close it. Let's head back to our site. Turn on the builder. Scroll down to the bottom, and let's add it just below here. So you can add it anywhere on your website. First of all, let's add a little bit of padding. So perhaps let's just do 100 pixels or so. Let's click into there and just type that in manually. Click on enter. Then what we can do is drop in this module, HTML text shortcode. Click it and just drag it and drop it into the spot. And then what we need to do is just to paste in the shortcode. So just paste and match style. And then we can click on done. And that's going to display your Instagram feed. So before we close it and save it, let's just add a little padding to the bottom too, 100, save it. And let's go ahead and close, and so we can see how that looks on our website. Okay, so that's looking great. So what we're going to do now is ensuring that our website is mobile responsive, so it looks good on tablet and mobile devices. So far we've completed step number 14 and step number 15, Instagram feed. So let's go ahead and check that off. So the next step is to ensuring that your blog looks good on tablet as well as mobile devices. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the builder. So we can click on the different settings on the top here. So you can click on tablet landscape to see basically how that layout looks on tablet on the landscape mode. You can also click on the tablet portrait. So as you can see, we can adjust the actual layout for the specific device. So the thing that I personally think that I would want to fix is this section over here, it does become a little bit narrow in terms of the blog post because we've got 2 blog posts and we don't have that much space. So one of the things that we can do is we can basically change the layout of the blog post. So what we can actually do is we can click on edit and we can change it to list post like this, right? But the problem with that is if we actually change that to list post, it's actually going to change for the desktop view as well. So what we're going to actually do, we're going to go over here, edit, keep it as grid 2. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this module. So duplicate it. So now we have 2 identical versions of it. So what we're going to do is for one of the versions, so for this version, we're going to set the visibility. So hover over the 3 dots here, click on visibility. And this one, I want to hide on tablet portrait like this, and then click on done. So then we can scroll down. This is the other one. So then we're over here, visibility. We're going to hide for everything except the tablet portrait. And then I'm going to click into it, edit, and then I'm going to change the list post layout like that. Okay, so this is the visibility settings that we can adjust. And we can also hover over here, the options, and change the 2 column to 65 by 35 like this. So our sidebar section has more space. So let's go ahead and save. And I'm going to give that a little preview. So what we're going to actually do is click on the 3 dots over here on the top of your browser. And then go to more tools. Go to developer tools. And then here we can set it to perhaps the iPad mini. And here we can actually see the layout. So as you can see, we have the grid post 1 layout, and then we've also expanded the sidebar section a little bit. So made it a little bit wider, so it's a little bit better for viewing. And that looks really good. So let's close that. Let's go ahead and turn on the builder and have a look at the mobile view and see if there's anything that we need to change. So your layout might be a little bit different. So the visibility settings is definitely an important setting. So I've shown you that. And let's click on the mobile setting. So here for the mobile setting, as you can see, we need to fix the layout a little bit. So here for the buttons, we're going to click on the button. And then here, we're going to go to button appearance. We're going to make sure that's in the middle. So, okay, so we can't align it over here. Let's go to styling, font, and align center. Same thing for this button, styling, font, align center. And let's add a little bit of padding for that button on the top. So let's do like 24 or something. Okay, so let's just type that in like that. And let's perhaps reduce the padding on the image. So let's click into that and let's just do perhaps 200 pixels. Same thing here. Let's just do 200 like that. You may want to adjust it a little bit more if you want. Scrolling down. And what you can actually do is you can actually hide the entire section as well. So for example, we could hide this entire section. So we can hover over the pink here, visibility, and perhaps we can just hide it for mobile. So we don't want to display this there. We just want people to go straight ahead to the blog post like that. And I think that looks pretty good for the most part. So we're going to leave it as is. Okay. So generally when you're adjusting like the sort of padding, it's going to retain for that specific device. So it's only when you actually edit, like for example, change it to grid number 1 or grid number 2, then it's going to also change for the desktop view as well. So once you've actually done the settings, then we can click on save. So what I recommend you doing after you've done, just click on the settings here, more tools, click back on the developer tools. And then let's go to perhaps the iPhone Pro Max to just double check the layout and see how that looks on an actual mobile device, right? So I think that looks pretty good. And then let's close that. Let's go over here, check the desktop view. Okay, so that's still the same and that's looking really good. So once you've finished each page in terms of the layout design, then you want to make sure that each page is also mobile responsive. So you want to check how it looks on the tablet views as well as the mobile views and adjust it accordingly. So what I want to show you guys now is how to recreate this about page. So you want to go back to your website, navigate to your about page and turn on the builder. So the first thing that we're going to do is to add in a background image and some text in the middle. So over here, hover over the row and we can click on the paintbrush, click on background, and we can select image. And here for the background image, click on plus. So we're going to upload some new images. So again, this is going to be in the download link in the description, the one that you have downloaded earlier. So select files, select the about folder, and I'm just going to upload the images that I've included in there. And then click on open. Then I'm going to select this one, so the about hero, insert file URL, and I'm going to select for the background mode to full cover. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of padding or spacing to that image so we can actually see it. So we can drag it and just pull it down. I think we're going to do around 200, and the same for the bottom. So it's even, so we're going to do 200 again. Okay, so let's just type that in. Okay, that's looking good. Then what we could do is we can also arrange the background position of that image. So because I want to see the people a little bit better and the bike, so we can just pull that down, change the background image to something like that. I think that looks pretty good. And then click on done. Then we're going to drop in a text module. So for our heading, so here we're going to type in about me. Set this to heading 1, like this. And we're also going to go to styling, go to font. I'm going to change this to white, move it to the middle. And because this is the heading 1 font, we're going to change the size here. So click on the general tab, click on heading 1 fonts, and we can change the size here. So I think we're going to do 90 pixels. And we're also going to add a text shadow. So because this is white text and the background is kind of light color, it's not very visible, so we can add a text shadow. So for example, we can do 1 px, 1 there, and a blur of 5. And then we're going to select a color. So you can select the black color and then just drop the opacity down to around 0.2, like that. You can change it to a little bit higher if you want to as well. Then we can click on save. So the shadow, you can't see the effect yet. Once you close the builder, you'll be able to see it. But right now we're going to add in another text module on the bottom. So a subheadline, drop that in. And then here we're going to type in my story of where it all began. Okay, and then go to styling, font, change the font size to perhaps 24. And then move it to the middle. Let's change it to the white text. You can also add in a text shadow here as well. So I might just do that as well. So 115, change the color to black and then drop the opacity down to 0.2. Okay, just like that. So the only thing that we want to do here is we want to make sure that this text is a little bit closer to the headline. So let's go to edit for the main heading for the about me, go to styling, and we're going to add negative margin. So click on margin and let's just do a negative margin of, let's say 24, like that, and then click on done. Then we can click on save and just close that. So we can preview how that looks. Okay, so that's looking really, really nice. So what we're going to do now is to create this text section as well as with it profile image. So I'm going to copy the text here. So just copy that and there we go. Let's go back here. So the first thing that we'll need to do is to separate the row into 2 columns. So one on the left and one on the right. And for the left column, we're going to add in a text module. Just drop that in and we can type in my mission, set this to heading 2. Okay, so make sure it's not heading 1 because they only should be one heading, one font. And then what we could do is just click on enter, and I'm going to paste in the text. So this could be a little bit about yourself, and then we could do yours truly, like that. And then we're going to click on done, and then on the right hand side we're going to add in an image. So here we're going to select this one here, just like that. And you can also adjust the appearance as well. I'm just going to keep it as default. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to add another image module just below this text. So here we can add your signature, so you can sign it on a piece of paper and then perhaps scan it onto your computer, and then you can upload it. So we can insert that in there, and I'm going to adjust the size a little bit. So I'm going to change the width to 200. Okay, keep the height as is, because once you change that, it's automatically going to resize the height, and that's going to keep it proportional. So the only other thing that we need to do is just to add a little padding to the top. So let's just do perhaps 100. Okay, and then for the bottom, so we can do perhaps 100 again, like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's preview that really quickly. Okay, perfect. Let's click on that again. And as you can see here, we do have a little accent, little line there. To add that in, if you want that, we can add that in quite easily. It's the divider. Drop that in there. And this is a solid line, so the thickness is going to be 2. And then we can also do a custom width like that. So we could do perhaps just like 50 or something. Okay, something like that. And then once we have determined the color scheme of the website, we can change the color as well. So you might want to change the thickness maybe to 3. I think that's probably a little bit better. And then the other section that we want to do is the quote section. So before we actually do that, what you can do is hover over here, hover over the options, and then for the alignment, you can align it to the middle. Okay, so that basically aligns the image to our text, or basically to the left section, like that. So everything is aligned in the middle, and that looks really good. So here we've added a quote. So here you can add your favorite quote, or perhaps it could be your own quote. And the first thing that we want to do is to add a new row. So add a new row. So here we have added a background color. So we're going to click on the styling. Okay, background. And for the background color, I'm going to add a light gray. Okay, so a light gray is a very nice color to add, a very nice neutral color. And it basically helps us sort of separate the content, and a lot of websites use it, this method of separating the content, and you can use it anytime as well. So let's just set this to 100. And then also for the bottom, let's do 100 as well. Okay, like that. And then all we need to do is to drop in another text module. So drop that in here. And then we can, I'm going to copy this quote. And then go over here, I'm going to paste that in. Okay, so you can select that, and then you can click on the block quote, and that's going to add this line here. And then on the bottom, you can type the author name, and then we're going to go to styling, font. Let's change the font size. That's looking really good. Let's bold the author, just like that. And I think that is not too bad. So because there's quite a lot of space on the bottom, I may want to reduce the space here a little bit. So let's just try 70. Okay, so that I think looks a little bit more even. I'm going to try and click on the preview. Okay, so that's looking really, really nice. And let's click back on the preview. So one more thing I want to show you is very important. So hover over here on the top, and you can hover over the 3 dots here, and then we're going to click on save. So what we're going to do is actually save this specific row, because we're going to create the blog page and the contact page, which is also going to have a hero image, and you don't have to recreate that every single time. So here we could just do like about hero, maybe V1, version 1 or something like that. Click on done, and we don't need to save it as a layout part because we don't want it to be, you know, you don't want it to be exactly the same, because like if you save it as the layout part, what basically happens is if you make changes to that specific layout part, it's going to affect all the sort of layout parts that you've added. So not for this specific purpose. Click on done and save it as a row. So then this is going to be on the save section here, like this. So once we've done the about page, we're going to move on to the contact page. So step 16 and step 17, we've completed that. So let's just check that off and let's move on to the contact page. So this is the page that we're going to recreate. So it has a text here with a contact form and a map. So you can head back to our website and over here, just go to your contact page and turn on the builder. So the first thing that we want to do is to add in the row hero image. So because we already created that and we've saved it as a row, what we could do is click on the saved on the top and we're going to click on the about hero and we can just drag and drop it in like that. So here, from here, we can just go to the paintbrush and then go to the background and let's just change the image. So we're going to upload files, select files. So we're going to upload the contact hero image. Click on open, then insert file URL. So here we're going to change the text. So instead of about me, we can do contact me or contact us. And then here for the subheadline, so we're going to do where can you find me? So where can you find me? So you can do get in touch as well if you want to do that. And here on the top, we've also got this little icon. So how do you do that icon? So here, what we can do is just drag in the icon module, drag it on the top. And for the icon, we can click into that. So here we can search for the arrow. So we can have a look at, oops, I think this one's location actually. Okay, so it's a location arrow. So it might be this one or it might be the Themify one, I think. So we can click on Themify and let's search for location. Okay, so it's this one here. And here we can change the color. So it's going to be white and the background, I'm going to delete it. For the icon label, hide the text as well. So here's the icon, it's tiny, you probably can't see it. So click on icon layout, change it to extra large. And then here, just move it into the center like that. So then the next thing that we can do is we can do a negative margin, go to styling, margin. So click on this. So we're going to unlink everything. And for the bottom, we can do -10, or let's just do -12 like that. And I think that looks pretty good. And then save. Okay. So the next section that we're going to do is a little section for your text and then a section for a contact form. So we can hover over here and change it to 2 columns. So we can drop in a text module and I'm just going to copy the text over here and I'm just going to paste in a match style, change this to heading 2. Whoops. Okay, let's hit on enter one time, change this to heading 2. Okay, and then here you can put in your address if you want to. You can add a phone number, email address, whichever way that allows your customers to contact you. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to add probably 100 pixels again for the padding for the top, and then also we're going to try 100 as well for the bottom like that. And I think that looks pretty good. So for the contact form, this is actually a plugin. So what we can do is we can go ahead and download and activate that plugin. So before we do that, you can also add in social media if you want to, drop in a widget. And then here, all we need to do is search for social, select Themify social links, click on open link in a new tab, and then you're good to go. So let's head back to our dashboard section where we can actually download the contact form plugin. So click on plugins, and below this video, we do have the download link for the contact form plugin. So make sure to download that to your computer as well. And it's going to look something like this, builder-contact.zip. And if it actually unzips into a folder, you want to right click it and you want to compress it back to the zip file. Then come back to your site and upload plugin, choose file, and then we can upload that plugin. So this one here, builder-contact.zip, open and install, activate. So once that is done, it should be added here. So let's head back to our contact page where we can add that in. So after you've added the contact form, then the contact module will actually be added to your Themify builder. So you can drag it in anywhere on your website. So on the left hand side on the modules, scroll down and you're going to see add-ons. And this is where we can click the add-ons, click the contact form and drag and drop it here. So here we can change the layout. So we can change it to different layouts like that. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so it has the sort of placeholder text in there and it saves a ton of space. And here we can send a email address to the admin's address. Okay, so this is going to be your login email, or you can set a specific email to where the contact forms will be delivered to. Okay, so set that in, or you can set it to admin. Yeah, so you can set that in. Then scrolling down over here, you can also do a success URL. So once people have successfully sent a message, they can be redirected, or you can just send a success message. Okay, so I'll show you that. And then we can scroll down and you can play around with the different fields that show. So here we've got the name, email, subject, message, and you can also add additional fields for people to check as well. And then we can scroll down over here. Okay, so for the send button, we can keep it as is. We can click on the icon and you can select a icon if you want to as well. So let's do this one over here. Okay. And then, yeah, so that's the basics of it. You can also edit the styling of the contact form here. So you can edit each of the individual sections for the contact form. So I think that looks okay. So I'm just going to leave it as that for now. And then how do you add a map? So to add a map, all we need to do is you can go to Google Maps. Okay, so go to Google Maps, type in your address, and then go to share, embed map, copy the HTML. So copy that to your clipboard just by clicking on that, going over here, and let's say you want to drop in your map here. So what we can do is drop in the HTML text shortcode, just drop that in, okay? And then we can just paste and match style. So you can just paste the map in there, right? So as you can see, the map doesn't go all the way across. So we can actually edit the width and the height here. So for the width, currently it's around 600 pixels. So I'm going to set it to 1200. Okay, and that's going to go pretty much all the way across. You can also edit the height. So right now it's around 400. Let's just change it to 400. Sorry, it was 450. Now it's 400. And I think that's looking pretty good. So then basically we can just add 100 pixels here. So add a little bit spacing there. I think that looks probably a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is add in also a divider just above there. So it's kind of consistent throughout my website as well, because I do have that on my about page. So let's just do, I think 50. And then for the thickness, let's try 3. And then you can change the color a little bit later as well. So let's do a quick preview. I think that's looking very, very nice. For our contact form, contact me, where can you find me? Send me a message for business inquiries, and then you can enter in your details. People can submit a message and that'll be sent to you. And they can also find you via the map as well. As I was looking at different blogs on the internet, for example, Pinch of Yum, Backlinko, Copy Blogger, TechCrunch, Engadget, as well as the Huffington Post, I realized that for their blog, their design was kind of different. Like each one was kind of different. So what I want to show you now is basically how we can achieve sort of different designs and different layouts when you're displaying your blog post, so that you have some idea and I can basically inspire you to design something different, and perhaps you can use the same skills here and apply it onto your homepage. let's say for example, we want to recreate the layout. So we're going to go to our blog page, turn on the builder. And from here, what we want to do is we want to add the blocks, saved. So we actually have saved the hero about. So just put that in there. So here we can just change the text. So we're going to label this perhaps as latest post. You can also click into the inline editor like that as well. And we're going to change the text here. So find all the latest blog post, just like that. And scrolling down here, so what I want to do is recreate something like this. So what we have is basically two columns, one on the left and one on the right hand side. And I've actually taken inspiration from Backlinko, where they have something similar like this. So to do that, we can go back here and hover over the row, select two columns. Let's click on done. And let's go back to modules. So here we can drop in a post module. So drop that in there. And here I just want to display one post, just this one. Okay, so I will basically just go to post. So you can select by specific post, but let's just say for example, we don't do that. Let's just do categories, select food. And we're going to select the grid list post like this. Okay, and as you can see, there's a lot of blog posts showing. I just want to display one, so we're going to set it to 1 like this. Okay, and to edit this, we can perhaps edit the excerpt length, which is like the summary. So display excerpt, and we can set it to perhaps 25 words. Okay, so it's not refreshing yet, but it'll basically cut it off. And scrolling down over here, you can edit the post date and post meta and things like that. But basically that's it. Okay. And the next thing I want to do is probably add some spacing on the top. Let's just do 100 pixels. Just like that. And then let's click on done. So on the right hand side over here, we're displaying basically 4 blog posts. So what we can do is we can drop another post module again, like this, and we can set it by post with using the post IDs basically. So what you can do is, first of all, let's change the layout. Let's change it to list thumb image, and we want to hide certain things, for example, the meta and the summary. So display none for the excerpt, and then for the post date, we can remove that. Post meta, we can remove that. And if we want to basically select what appears in here, so we can actually go ahead and select the food category, but what happens is this category still appears here as well. So what you can actually do is you can use post IDs, right? So basically you can go to the post. So we can go over here to our dashboard section. And then for example, let's click into it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we've got 4 posts over here. For the post ID, it's 126 and 121. So it's all in the URL here. So you can go back to your blog over here and just type that in. So I'm just going to copy that. So copy that and come back here like that, and then just comma, and then here 121, copy, paste that in, comma, and then over here, let's copy that. So generally this is going to be useful if you have a lot of blog posts and you want to organize everything and really have flexibility in your design. So paste that in, and I think there we go. Okay, so it doesn't show that one. Let's go ahead and just save that. Okay, so that looks pretty decent. So for example, it might look a little bit not aligned because there's so much space down here. So either you have 5 blog posts, or perhaps you can also remove the excerpt over here. So let's go over here. Okay, so they don't have the date, so we can remove that. Let's go here. Let's remove the post date. Does it have the post meta? No, it doesn't. So let's go ahead and remove that too. And then also for the excerpt, let's just do 20 like this. And let's just keep actually the post meta and just keep the category like that. Okay, and what we can actually do is you can actually go here, hover over here, and then select this, and basically aligns it in the middle like that. Okay, so if that's what you want, then you can keep that. Now, next, what we're going to do is sort of recreate the section over here. So how can you do that? So let's just go back and turn on the builder. So this is, again, another design that you can do. So we can, first of all, let's just add some padding there. So 100. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to styling, background, and I want to add F6, 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 just a light sort of gray background to basically separate the content a little bit. So let's click on done. And here we have a title and then a subheadline. So I'm just going to copy this text here. So let's go back here. Let's drop in a text module. Just going to paste that in, edit as pics, and then just going to copy that as well. Paste that in, change this to heading 2. Let's add maybe some padding there as well. Let's just do 100 again. Okay. And here we can also change the sort of fonts of the body text as well, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So next, what we're going to do is we have the post. So we can drop that in here. So we can select that one. Okay, so this is going to be the grid 2 thumbnail. And here we don't have the content. So for example, the excerpt is going to be none. And then we've also got the post date, post meta, that's none too. So something like that. Okay, and then obviously you can change the category. So let's just say, for example, we have the travel category, and that just displays like that, right? So we're going to add a little bit of padding here to make sure that's even. So it's 100 pixels. Save it. So as you can see, that layout has been achieved like pretty easily. So obviously you might need to add a little bit of padding down here as well. But we're going to create the next section. So over here, how do you create something like this? So to create something like that, it's fairly easy as well. So let's head back over here, turn on the builder. Let's just add a little bit of padding there, maybe 12 pixels or something, 10, okay, like that. And here, what we're gonna do is to create the layout. So let's drop the post in here. What we're gonna do is select grid 3, like that, okay. And as you can see with the sort of outline here, it's sort of in a box. So let's go back over here and we can actually select the layout, content layout, to be boxed. And that's basically going to box it like that. And I'm sure that you've probably seen a lot of layouts that look like this. So what we can do is we can hide the post content. So let's just hide that to none, like that. And you can have it something like that. We're going to also change the number of posts to 6 posts, like that. So let's head back over here and check the layout. So this one doesn't have the author. So hide the author, hide the comments, and then you have a very similar layout to a lot of different blogs. So what you can also do, you can also go to styling and you can go to the general container. So this is the container, and we can actually add some padding, like 10, like that. Okay, and that's going to add some padding in the container. So as you can see, it sort of moves that image in a little bit and adds a little bit of space there. And I think that looks pretty good. Perhaps we could do 15, and make sure you sort of link it as well. So making sure that we link it, okay, and that applies the padding everywhere. So if that's what you want, you can do that. Obviously you can delete that too. So when people hover over that, so let's say for example, let's go to copy blogger. When people hover over that, it sort of highlights a little bit. So we can go to here, and what we can do for the container is we can add like a shadow. Click on shadow, click on hover, and let's just do 1, 1, blur, let's do 5, and spread, perhaps we could do 5 as well. And then here, we're gonna select F6, F6, like that. Okay. And then what we could do is go to normal and we can hover over that. So as you can see, there's a very slight sort of hover effect on that. And let's just click on preview to show you, like that. Right, it's very, very subtle, but I think it looks kind of nice. So we can click on save and obviously add some padding on the top over here. Drop padding, so let's just do 100. And you can do that for the bottom here as well. And then pretty much you are done with the layout. So let's just zoom out of the layout. And you can see that we have basically done 3 different layouts, and you can use what you learn here to apply it to your homepage. So what you can actually do is you can go over here to the row like this, and then we can go to save. So this could be layout 1, done. And then you can add, and save layout 2, layout 3, and then for whichever page that you want to display your blog post, for example, your homepage, you can use that same layout without recreating it again. So the next thing that I want to show you guys is how to customize the sidebar section of your blog post. So let's just click into one of these posts. So what you're going to notice here is the default sidebar, and this has the default content set in. And I'm going to show you guys exactly step by step how to change it. So this is actually going to be different from the homepage sidebar that we set in. So this one is just specific for the homepage only. And let's say if we click into that blog post, then we need to set in the sort of default sidebar and what content it displays as well here. So there's essentially 2 ways of editing the sidebar section. I'm going to show you the first way, which is what most people actually do. But then I'm going to show you the second way, which is what I recommend, and it's probably going to offer you the most flexibility and best for you in the long run. And it's actually not that much harder. Perhaps it could be even easier. So let's go ahead and edit the sidebar section. So we can go back to our dashboard. And what we're going to do is we're going to hover over appearance and then click on widgets. And let's go over on the top here. And I'm going to open the home page and then go to and open a blog post. So then once we edit the settings, we can see what we've done. So click into that. And over here, we can scroll down to the sidebar section. So we can click on the drop down, and this is the content in the sidebar. So as you can see, we have the search function, recent post, recent comments. Same thing, search function, recent post, and recent comments. So you can go over here and you can remove it, just like click on delete. And then over here, we can just delete it. Again, we can delete it one by one. And here, go over here and delete. And I think this one, we have to delete that too. So now there's nothing there. So what we can do is click on the plus icon. And then we can go ahead and build out the about page just by clicking the image. And then we can upload the image. So we can choose the profile image. So I'm going to choose perhaps this one here. And then, for example, we can click on the plus again. And here we can go ahead and browse all. So we can drag in any of these widgets. So let's say, for example, we want to add a little bit of text. So we'd add the paragraph and just drag and drop that in. And then we could type in about me. And then we could bold it, or we can also change, I believe, it to a heading as well. So for example, bold it, and then we can write a little bit about ourselves. So let's go over here and copy over this dummy text, and then just paste and match style. And we can update. So then we can go back over here and refresh to see basically how that looks. Okay, so the changes haven't been made there. What I'm going to do is hover over this icon and purge all. So that basically clears the cache. So as you can see, we've edited the sidebar section. So it's not bad, and generally that's the way that most people actually do it, but it doesn't really offer too much control, in my opinion, because you have to sort of switch back and forth in terms of seeing how that looks on the actual page that people see. So here, like the widget settings over here, it's a little bit hard to edit as well, in my opinion. And moving things around, you sort of move it like this, move it up and down, and it's a little bit harder to edit. So I personally don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the second way, and I'm just going to delete all the content first. So we're going to go ahead and delete. So now that's clear. I'm going to click on update. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover over Themify Ultra, click on layout parts, and we're going to create a new layout part. So this is going to be like your sidebar layout. So click on add new. And this method of doing it, it really allows you to even control where you want to display your sidebar. So you can create multiple sidebars. So a lot of different blogs will have different sidebars for different categories or different posts. So you can do that too. So you can call this sidebar main or sidebar 1, depending on what you want to call it. Click on publish. And once we've done that, then what we want to do is we want to go back over here, just click on layout parts again. So from here, we can actually get the shortcode. So copy the shortcode like this to your clipboard. And what we want to do is we want to utilize the hook content again. So we're going to go to Themify settings. And then we want to go to hook content and click on plus item. And here we can see the hook location. So let's just paste in the shortcode first and see hook locations. Navigate to a blog post and just click into that. Okay, so we can scroll down. As you can see, we want to put it in this section here, but it's neither these two. So it's going to be the sidebar start. So scroll down and click on the sidebar start like that. Okay. And then make sure you put in the shortcode and then click on save. Then what we could do is go back to this post and let's just refresh it. So as you can see, there isn't any content at the moment. So what we're going to do is go back to the layout parts, and for the sidebar main, let's click into that. And let's go to the front end. So what we're going to do actually, we're going to just turn on the builder and add in perhaps a image module first. So let's just drop it in there, and then we can upload our profile image. So let's just say, for example, just keep it as that one. Okay, like that. And then let's click on save. Okay, and then let's close for now. Then let's navigate back to the post, refresh the post. Then you should be able to see your image there. Okay, so now you'll be able to edit your layout part. So you can click edit it. And from here, we can again recreate our sidebar with the drag and drop front end builder. So we've got our image here. So next, what we could do is we want to add some text. So drop that in there. And for example, we could do about me. And I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to just copy what I have already. So I'm just going to go over here. So I'm going to copy this text over and then come back here. Oops. And then just go over here. Set this to heading 4 again and paste in and match style. Then from here, we're going to add again the social media links. So let's go back here, click on done, click on the widget, drop that in. So I'm just going a little bit faster here because I have shown you guys already, but this really gives you the option to be flexible. So I'll show you in a second what I mean. So put in the Themify social links, open link in a new tab, click on done. And then what we could do is we can also drop in the widget module again. So if you want to display your specific categories, we can do that. So we can search for categories and do the Themify list categories like that. And we can list out the categories. You can also exclude certain categories by using the category ID. So I've shown you that already. So again, if you are not sure of the category IDs, it is in the dashboard section, and it is where you hover over the post here, click on categories, And when you click on that, then it will show you the category ID number, like there. And then you can exclude it here if you need to. So you can click on done. So yeah, really total control over it. So if you want to do your popular post, you can drop in a text module and you can, again, show your popular post like that and do the ad placement. So if you want to paste in any sort of Google AdSense ads, then you would use something like the HTML shortcodes and drop that in. And then you can really just put anything that you see here into the sidebar section. So this is going to be your default sidebar on all your posts. So it's different from the one on your homepage. Now, where it is like really flexible and powerful is where, because we've actually put this into the hook content and we've used a layout part, is you can edit the layout part here. But also if we go to the Themify Ultra and if we go to layout parts here, we can create multiple sidebars. So we can create like a sidebar for your main one, then we can have a sidebar for like perhaps your money category, and then a sidebar for your travel category, and each sidebar can have different content, right? And how you would actually set that in is you would go to Themify settings and then go to hook content, and then here we would click on add and edit conditions. So click on categories, and then from here you can select the specific sidebar to only appear in specific categories. So perhaps you could have a sidebar for your blog, you could have a sidebar for your food category, a sidebar for your travel category, or you can even have it for specific post as well. So you can have it specific, maybe perhaps for your most popular post, you might have a different sidebar. Yeah, it's really dependent on what you want to do, but you can add as many as you need. So that's like the biggest benefit of it. And of course, you know, having the option to easily just edit everything on the front end, it just makes things a lot easier. So another super cool feature that I almost forgot to mention is that you can add table of contents. So you can drag that in and you can add it to your sidebar layout part and just drop that in. And here we can actually set in the anchors by tags. So earlier we've actually set these to heading 3. So what we can actually do is we can deselect all the other ones and we just want these to be our contents. So for the container, because we're not using the current builder, which is going to be this part here, this is a layout part, we do need to select all the document, okay? And that way it's going to pick up on the tags for the whole entire document. And here we have all the table of contents. So you could do like a title, table of contents, like that. And then if you want it to be a sticky, so for example, if someone scrolls down, it stays there, you can go to the animation tab. And then for the scroll effects, click on sticky and stick at. And here we can stick at the top position, so it stays on the top. Or you can also do offset, which is sort of like a padding. So let's say, for example, we do offset of like 250. So if we scroll down over here, that's going to be the spacing or the offset. So as you can see, we have the table of contents, and if we want to skip to a specific part, it's going to scroll there like that. So you can click on discover your niche, it's going to scroll back up to our content area. So obviously you probably have a little bit more content. That's why it's all highlighted in red, because that's the specific section that we're on. But yeah, so I think it's really, really cool feature, and you can even enable it for only specific blog posts as well, because not all blog posts need table of contents, since it might be like a little shorter content, but some might be like a very big blog post and you may want that. So step 18, 19, and 20, we have completed that. So let's check that off, and let's go ahead and edit the default post layout settings. So I want to show you basically where you can change the default post layout, as well as changing the layout for your archived post, which is, for example, your category pages. So if we click into one of the categories, like for example, travel, then we can change the layouts for that too. So as you can see, it actually displays the whole post. So generally you do want to change that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the dashboard in a new window. And over here, we can go to Themify settings. then click on the default layouts, and then click on the default archive post layout. So this is going to edit the default layout for your category and your tagged pages. So by default, it's set as the list post. So as you can see, it shows the whole post. And what we want to do is I want to change it to grid number 2. And depending on what you want, if you want to hide the sidebar section, you can do that too. For example, right now we have the sidebar. You can also change it to no sidebar. For example, this option here. And for the post content, you can change it. You can also add a post filter and align the post as well if you want to, which I'm going to do. You can basically edit all the settings here depending on what you want to show and what you don't want to show. So for example, you can even change the post date. So for example, if you want to change the date into inline text instead of the circle style, then you can do that. Let's just go ahead and save and I'll show you what I mean. So we've saved that and let's go refresh the page here. Then as you can see for the travel category, it's just very basic with the title on top. And then we've got the grid 2 layout. And also with the dates, that has been changed to the inline text like that without the sort of circle thing. And as you can see, it still shows the content. So we're going to go over here and actually for the content, I just want to display the excerpt only. And I'm going to set it to maximum of 30 words. Then I think that's looking pretty good. We can go ahead and save and then refresh the page. Okay, so that's looking very good. Now, the only thing that is showing that I don't want to show is this email opt-in, which is a layout part. So we actually go to back over here, go to the hook content, and this is the one that we added earlier. So we want to actually edit the conditions. So add and edit conditions here. And then I just want it to show on the single post view pages without showing on the other ones. So just set that in as single post views and then save. So that way it's only going to display on the actual blog post, not on, for example, your archive pages, which is your category pages. And there we go. So let's go ahead and click into the blog post as well. And you can also edit the post layout too if you want to. So I think it is pretty good, but you can edit it. So you can go to default layouts and then you can scroll down. Let's minimize this one first. And then over here, the default single post layout, you can change the layout too. So for example, you can change the sidebar location, you can change the post layout, you can hide certain things. Like, do you want to change this date thing as well? Then you can do that by editing this here, okay? And yeah, so pretty much you can edit that by yourself. And then we can save it, then we can refresh it. So now we're just adding the finishing touches to our blog, and I'm going to show you guys how to add this mega menu where people can hover over it and it can display your category post like that, which I think is really nice. And I'll even show you guys how to add this animated butterfly as well. So let's head back to our website and I'm going to open the dashboard in a new tab. So then we can edit it and then refresh our page. So hover over appearance, click on menus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new menu item called featured. Now you can make it drop down under from the blog as well if you want to, but I'm going to actually just put it onto a new menu item. So I'm going to create a custom link because it's not an actual page. So we're going to do just a hashtag and then put in for the link text, featured, add to menu, and that's going to add a new menu item. So I'm going to drop it below blog, just like that. And then I'm going to click on categories. And then over here, I'm going to select the category, for example, blogging, travel, and food. Add it to our menu. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure to drop it down from the featured menu item. So click it and sort of indent it below featured, like that. And the next step that you will need to do, once you've done that, then click on the drop down here. For the mega menu, click on mega post and save menu. So once that is done, that should be updated and we can refresh the page. And then it should have added the new menu item here. So what you're going to notice is sometimes the sort of blog post thumbnail image here is going to be a little bit blurry because we need to make sure we set in the correct dimensions according to the size that we've uploaded on our blog. So what we're going to do is head back over here, and we're going to go to Themify Ultra, Themify Settings, and then we're going to go to Theme Settings, Mega Menu. So here we can actually set in the number of posts to display. I just want to display 4, and then click on Save. So here is where you can edit the size of the thumbnail, and this is important because sometimes it might actually be different for you as well. So let's go to Media and let's open it in a new tab. So for our blog post featured images, I've actually uploaded them all to be the exact same size because I actually cropped it in Photoshop before I uploaded all of them. And what I do recommend is making sure that when you upload it, just making sure all the dimensions are similar. So this is a good dimension to start off with if you're not sure. 1200 by 800 pixels. So that's the width times the height. And what we need to do is take these two numbers and just open up a calculator. Okay, and we want to make this image a little bit smaller, but also make sure that it is proportional. Okay, so let's do 1200, and let's do divided by 6. Okay, so that's 200. So we can put in, let's say, 200 pixels for the width. And for the height, what we want to do is to take 800 pixels, so 800 divided by 6. Okay, and that's 133.33, and then just put in the number here like that, and then click on Save. So then once that is done, we can refresh the page, and then we can hover over here, and then you can see a slight change in the size of the images, and now it is very crisp and it looks high quality. So if you've uploaded a different size image, for example, let's say it's like 1500 times maybe 1000, then you want to also reduce the size, but you also want to make sure you do it proportionally. So like 1500 perhaps divided by maybe 8, and then you want to make sure you divide the height by 8 as well. Okay, so for example, you would put in here, you would do, let's say, 1500 divided by 8, and then you put 187.5 here, and then here on the next section you would do 1000 divided by 8 again, and then 125, and then Save. Okay, that ensures that the thumbnail image is proportional, okay, and then it's just high quality. So I think that's pretty much it here. So let's just close that and close that. And if we want to add, for example, this animated butterfly, it's very, very easy, and you can add it on your website too. So for example, all we need to do, you can drop this icon module here, drop it below there, and select Lottie. And then here we can select it from the Lottie library. So you can click on that, and then we can search for butterfly. And then let's say perhaps we want this one here. We can click on it, download and use file. And then pretty much we've added it in. So it's on the left hand side here. And we can, for example, we can change the background. Let's just delete the background, remove the icon label, icon layout. Let's move it to the center, make it larger. And here we go, we have the butterfly. And since we have the butterfly there, I'm actually going to reduce the top padding a little bit, okay, because it's just too large, to maybe 200 or maybe even less, but I think it's going to leave it as that for now. And yeah, so that's pretty much as simple as that for the sort of animated butterfly. And then just click on Save. So what I want to talk about now is colors and fonts, because it can change the whole feel and the vibe of your website. It can make your website look ugly, or it can make it look really professional. So what I want to go through now is sort of help you understand a little bit more about it, and then also show you how I would actually apply it onto our website. So first of all, when we're looking at fonts, we have two main different typefaces. You got the sans serif typeface, and you've also got the serif typeface. So the difference is, as you can see, the edges are plain, so it's just very clean and plain. The strokes are also even width. But with the serif typeface, you've got curves on the edges. And with the strokes, as you can see, that's thinner, and then it goes thicker. So thicker and thinner. And generally, the look of it is more traditional. It sort of has a handcrafted, elegant look. And this is going to be good for if you're creating maybe perhaps like a food blog, travel blog, maybe a lifestyle fashion blog. But if you're creating like a tech blog, then you'll probably want to stick with something like a sans serif typeface. So once you understand that, then you can go to different websites. Like for example, if you go to Apple, then you're going to notice that they don't use any serif typeface. It's mostly just sans serif, very clean and simple because it's something to do with tech. So if you go to perhaps like a blog, for example, for food, then you're going to see more, for example, this one, which is I think a serif typeface. Again, same thing with the body text. And you want to look at your competitors' websites as well as perhaps websites that you're inspired by. You can actually download a sort of Chrome extension called What Font, and you can click it and then you can hover over the font to see what fonts they're actually using. But generally, just by looking at it, you'll be able to see whether or not they're using a serif typeface or a sans serif. So for example, here it's a sans serif, and this makes the website look kind of simple and easy, rather than if you were to go with something like this. It just makes it more sort of handcrafted vibes. And perhaps if you're creating like a baking blog or something like that, it might be more suitable. So really look at your competitors and inspiration and figure out maybe what type of font that you want to choose. So once you have an idea of it, then you can go to a website called fonts.google.com. So the Google fonts are free and they're actually available on your website. So here what we can do is we can actually go through the most popular ones, because let's say if we go to our website over here and if you actually view the font, so if you actually go to customize, there's just way too many fonts to choose from. And really, I don't think, a lot of them aren't really good for websites. Like sometimes you might use it for like, print or maybe like on your social media. But for the website, for the text on the website, you want to make sure that everything is very visible, very readable. So if we click over here on the drop down, you're going to see just hundreds of fonts. Like some of them it just makes your website look really, really bad. Like for example, this one. So you just wouldn't choose it, right? So that's why it's a good idea to actually go directly to Google Fonts and find the most popular ones. So let's say, for example, I want to create a luxury travel blog. So I would do something like, I'll type in like the keywords. So luxury travel blog, like this. And I'll basically look through it. So for this one, I want to go for a serif typeface. And I want to look through the different fonts here. And what I can do is actually go here, click on the most popular, and then see which one is most suitable for what I want. So I was actually initially going to pick the Playfair display, but I figured out it's kind of more suitable for like maybe like a lifestyle fashion blog. So I'm going to decide on the Noto serif. So this one over here. Okay. You've also got the slab serif typeface. So this is a little bit less common, but the difference here is as you can see with the strokes, it's more even width, but it's also got on the sides the edges as well. Okay. So this one makes it look a little bit more mechanical, industrial. It's more rectangular in terms of what it looks like. I probably wouldn't choose this for like the body text, but perhaps for maybe if I were creating like a baking blog and I was using it for the headings, then I could choose something like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Noto serif for the heading, okay? And then for the body text, I'm gonna go for a sans serif. So for the body font, I'm going to choose a Noto Sans. So I believe that's from the same sort of family or the same person who actually created the Noto serif. So I think they're going to go well together. So what I'm going to do is apply it onto our website. So let's go back over here. So before we actually apply it, we do want to enable all the Google fonts just in case you might not actually see them. So let's go back over here and go to Dashboard and then go to Themify Settings. And then over here, I'm going to scroll down, click on Google Fonts, and I'm going to do Show All Google Fonts, okay? And then click on Save. So let's head back to our site. And I'm going to show you basically how I would actually apply it. So let's click on Customize. So you want to navigate to the Themify options, and you can click on the advanced options for more options here. So I'm going to click on headings, and we're going to edit the heading fonts. So click into it, and then here we're going to search for Noto Serif, and then select it. Okay, so as you can see, it changes it for the headings. So I think that doesn't look too bad. I think it looks pretty good for the text. So what I'm going to do is also add a little bit of font weight to it, because it is my heading and I want to change it to 600 font weight. You don't want it to be something too thin like that. It just doesn't look very good because it's not very readable. And I think 600 is definitely a good place to start with. And I also want to change it for the heading too as well. So I'm going to change it to the same one. You don't want to randomly, choose a different one again. So keep it the same, keep it very consistent. Okay, like this. This is going to be the heading 2 here, and I'm going to change it to perhaps 500. I think that looks not too bad, or 600. Yeah, let's just keep it as 500. Okay, heading 3, we're going to edit that again. So Noto Serif. And then here I'm going to change it to 500 as well. Heading 4. So heading 4, I believe it's some of the headings on the right hand side here. Okay, and let's change it to 500. Okay, maybe let's just go for 600. Okay, so I think that is looking pretty good. And for heading 5 and 6, I'm going to leave it as empty for now. So let's just close that and then publish. So I actually realized after editing the video, I actually forgot to add in the body font. So here, click on body font, and right now it's just the default body font. So I'm going to change it to the Noto Sans and just select that. Okay, so as you can see, that has been changed and that looks pretty good. So in terms of the size, I'm going to keep it just as the default size. I think that looks pretty good. And with the font weight, I think 400 is pretty decent, because anything sort of thicker, I just think it looks not that great, because there's not much separation between sort of the heading and then the body font. So you do want to have some kind of separation or some kind of hierarchy. So I think that looks perfect. If it's like 100, then that's way too thin and that's not readable at all. 200, still the same. 500 too thick. I think 400 is perfect. So we're going to click on publish. So I'm going to close that as well. And what I'm going to do is also change the background image as well as change the text as well, so I can see if it fits it well. So let's just turn on the builder, because right now we're just using a very generic heading. So I'm going to change this to luxury travel. Okay, so that looks a lot better already. Let's edit the background color. Sorry, the background image. Change it to the image. Okay, something like this, luxury travel, and I'm also going to change the sub headline as well. So perhaps find all the newest hotels and destinations, something like that. Okay, and then I'm also going to change this butterfly to something related to travel. Delete that, click on Lottie library. And I'm going to try and look for something that has to do with searching or location or something like that. Okay, so this one might be not too bad. Okay, actually this one, you just click that, download and use file. And then, okay, that's added in. Sometimes it may not be able to download for some reason, I'm not sure why, but just try to find one which you can. And then we can scroll down. Okay, so that looks very good. Let's just close that. So now we can also go into our blog post to see how that sort of looks. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. And I'm actually going to go to our homepage and update my blog post as well. So the images that you use on your website is also going to affect how your website looks as well. So I'm going to click on edit, and for the categories, I'm going to select the luxury category, which I added in earlier. Click on done. Let's zoom out of our website a little bit. Okay, so it is really taking shape, our luxury travel blog. Okay, so let's just close that. And what I want to do is I actually want to change my logo to just something a little bit more luxurious, I guess, because right now it's just very plain and generic, and that's also going to affect the look of my website. So let's go site and logo here, site logo, and instead of just the basic one, I'm going to go site logo image. Okay, so this is the one that I actually uploaded. I think that looks quite nice for my brand. Let's close that. Okay, perfect. So right now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the colors and how to actually apply the colors onto your website. So as you guys know, if you have a ton of different options when you're picking colors, it's very important to be sort of consistent. Otherwise, your website's just going to look very tacky. And also an important thing is when you're adding colors to your website, you also want to find a little bit of balance as well, and making sure that everything is visible and readable for your visitors. So when we're choosing colors, I like to go to a website called colors.co. So you can actually go to this website here, and what you can actually do is you can actually click on the spacebar to generate colors, and if you like the color, you can lock it in like this. So generally when I'm choosing colors, I like to pick one primary color and then one secondary sort of accent color that sometimes I might need to use. And then the other 3 colors or so, I'm just going to use a very neutral color. Okay, so you don't want to pick like 5 different colors because it's kind of hard to match it, especially if you're not a professional, and it's going to take you more time. It's sort of like if you're choosing an outfit for the day, if you just go all black, or maybe white t-shirt and blue jeans, it's very, very simple and easy to match with like any shoes or anything like that. But then if you choose like 5 different colors, then you're just going to look like a rainbow, right? So it's very important to just not go overboard, especially if you're just starting out. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see over here, I want to create a luxury travel blog. So I want to think about what colors sort of represent the keyword luxury, right? So for me, I think something to do with gold. So what I've actually done is I've actually chosen the color palette here. Okay, so this gold is going to be my main color, and this is going to be my accent color, and these ones over here is just going to be my neutral colors. Okay, so this one is just what I've chosen, but this one is basically a shade of that one. So what we're going to do is you can also go to here, and you can also find an image that you really, really like. So find something that you like, and you can upload that image here, and you can take the color palette from that image. So let's just say, for example, we upload a image. So we're going to upload a hero slider image. Let's say, for example, you really like, okay, you're creating a food blog, okay, open. And here, this could be your color scheme. And then you can click on next, open in generator, and then you can use this color scheme here. So this one could be a primary color, perhaps this one here can be a secondary color. These ones are kind of like very neutral tone. So I'm going to keep these, and you can just lock them in like this. Okay. And what I recommend is obviously saving it because you don't want to close it and then forget your color palette, right? So you can do that. You can also go to Adobe Color as well. So for example, we can go over here, go to Adobe Color, and then go to Explore. Okay, that's going to take you here. So you can start typing in some keywords like luxury, and then click on enter. And it's going to have some luxury sort of color schemes, and you can, for example, click into it, and then you can copy the code here. Like for example, maybe this one. Let's go back here, and then you can click here and just change it like that, and then just use this one. I personally prefer this one because you can also click here to view the shades as well, which you can apply to your website, and I'll show you how that kind of works. So this is going to be my color palette, and I'm going to close these ones for now, and also close this. You can also read up on different color meanings as well before you choose the colors. You can also go to the website itself. So for example, if you like this website, if you like that specific color and you want to go for a similar theme, then you can also download a Chrome extension called Colorzilla, and then pick color from page. So perhaps I want that blue. Okay, so you got that blue, and that's going to copy that hex code to the color here, and then you can add that here, right? So let's go back over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to customize, and kind of show you how I apply it onto the site. So then you can do something similar. So here we're going to click on the accent colors and then click on accent colors. And for the theme accent color, I'm going to choose this one. So we're going to copy that, click that, and that's going to copy to your clipboard. So I'm going to go a little bit faster because hopefully you guys know where everything kind of is now. I just want to show you basically the thought process behind everything. So the theme accent hover, this is basically the color that we're going to hover. So for example, okay, so here, as you can see, the hover color is kind of black or dark gray. Okay, so this is going to be the theme accent hover. So what I want the hover color to be is I'm going to paste in the hex code here. And generally what you want to do is pick perhaps 2 or 3 shades darker, or you can do something lighter. Okay, so that people know that it is a link. So let's just go back here like this. Okay, so if you go to, let's say if we go to Apple and we hover over the button, okay, so it just, I think it goes a little bit darker, but it does do an underline over here. But when you hover over the continue, there is a light, it goes lighter, right? So people know that it is a button, okay? So if you go to maybe another website, okay, when the hover color, it hovers into a dark gray, which is also a good option too. But generally I like to choose just a darker shade of my current color, like that, right? It's very subtle and it just looks very sort of seamless. The semi accent color, I'm going to choose the pink color here. I'm going to copy that and then paste that in here, okay? And I think that changes this color over here as well. So we can click on publish. Now, if you do want to update this button here, this is going to be the footer and it's going to be the back to top button. So here you can change the background color as well, right? So we're going to close this. So now the website is sort of taking shape, and I'm going to show you where else I'm going to apply that color. So we're going to turn the builder and we're going to start with the buttons here. So we're going to click into that and click into styling, click into the button link background, and I'm going to add the color as well. So copy that again, come back here, paste that in, okay, like that. And I want to change the link color to, it's going to be just white, okay. And the hover color, we're going to click on hover. Actually, I'm going to click here and add this color into the color palette here so I can easily select it for next time. And the hover color, let's go 3 shades darker, come back here, paste that in, also add that in too. So when people hover over that, it's going to be a nice color like that. So with this color over here, you don't want to use the same color here because you want to sort of separate it a little bit. So you can keep it like this, like just a neutral color, or you can go for, perhaps you can use your accent color. So let's go button link background, and we could use this one here. So I want to see how that kind of looks. So I haven't really tested this. So you do need to test it. So I think, okay, that's not too bad. And then again, for the hover, I'm going to go for, just paste this in here, go for 3 shades darker, paste the hover color in there, okay? So not too bad, especially if you add it a little bit more consistently throughout your website too, so it kind of matches up and balances out. I think that is looking pretty good. Let's just add the color to our color palette too, so we can use it for later, and then click on save. So let's just zoom out and let's preview our site. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's just edit the footer section too. Let's close that. So the first thing that we need to do is to go to our dashboard and disable the animated background, themify settings, and then let's go to the scroll down here, theme settings, and then go to animated background colors. So you can, if you want to choose a color that you've chosen, for example, the gold color, okay? And if you want to use that for your animated background, so it kind of, changes colors, you can actually do that too. But I'm just going to disable it and keep it simple. Save it. Let's head back over here. Turn on the customizer and scroll down. And for your footer section, we're going to scroll down to the footer wrap. And for the footer wrap, let's say, for example, we pick a gold color. I don't feel like, it looks that great. I would either go for a neutral color, which is, for example, just a white and simple color, or I'll go for something like a dark gray. So I think that kind of looks nice like that. You can also choose a color from the shades over here. So it has a tint of that gold color as well. So I'm going to pick that one and see how that kind of looks. Okay, so not too bad. So it has a tint of gold, and I feel like that adds a really professional touch. So once you change the footer background color, you want to make sure the links are visible. So you want to go to the footer link, and you want to make sure that the link is, that color. Okay, for the footer text, which is the 2003, which the ones without the link, I'm going to keep it like that. I think it kind of looks nice like that. Or if you want to change it, you can also change it here, the footer font color. Okay, so for some reason, this button over here, it is this gray. So let's click over here. Let's edit that quickly. Okay, so I'm not sure why that is gray. Perhaps I'm going to click the color as... Okay, so I'm going to select black here. Click on done. Okay, save it. So let's head to our about page and see what we can actually change there. So let's turn on the builder. So as you can see, we've added a sort of a divider line here. So we can click on that divided line. Color, we could perhaps choose this color here, or we could choose the pink like this, accent color. So what you don't want to do is like randomly introduce like another color, right? So you want to stick to your color palette. So either pink or, a neutral color like this is fine. This gold color is also fine too. So I'm just going to do the gold, save it. And you can also, for the background color, perhaps you can go here, and instead of the light gray, which kind of looks nice already, you can go for, perhaps if you want a little tint of gold, then we could go over here, choose that one. Let's go back here, delete that and paste that in. Okay, so it could be like that too, right? So I think that looks not too bad. Perhaps I would make the text a little bit darker because a little bit too... let's change the font color. Okay, like that, and save. Congratulations, we've completed step 21, 22, and 23. So we're going to go ahead and check those off. So what I want to show you now is how to create a free professional domain email, for example, hello@yourdomain.com, and then show you guys how you can actually connect it to Gmail. So you can basically send emails as well as receive and manage all your email in your Gmail inbox. So you want to go to Hostinger and just log in. So you'll be redirected to the H panel. Here we want to click on emails. So we're just going to set up the free email service. So we're going to click on setup. And here we can select the domain that we want to create the email on. So in this case, it's Next Creator. Click on confirm. And then from here, we want to click on manage and click on select. So here you can enter in the name. So for example, it can be your name, it could be hello, it could be sales or info, anything you like. And I'm going to make this my admin email, then set in a password. So this is going to be the password that you're going to log into your email with, and set in a password recovery email. Then click on create a new account. So if you want to access your email, then we can click on access webmail. So to view your email as well as to send and manage your email, you'll need to log into this email panel. Okay, so it'll look something like this, and I'm just going to click on get started so you can customize your profile. Click on next, and I'm going to unselect that one. Let's just click I'll do this later. I'll do this later. Okay, so this is going to be your inbox, And to send emails, you'll have to send it from here, as well as where you can read your emails. Now, if you want to connect it to your Gmail account, I'll show you guys how to do that. So let's go back over here, and then I'm going to click on emails again on the top, click on manage, and then over here, I'm going to click on configure desktop app. So here, we just need the details. So we need the details to basically connect it to our Gmail account. So right now you can log into your Gmail account, and then we're going to click on settings on the top right hand side, see all settings, and I want to click on account and imports. So over here, I want to basically check mail from other accounts. So I'm going to add an email account. So here we're going to put in the email address. So our email address is hello@nextcreator. So I'm just going to copy that, come back over here. Okay, just paste that in, click on next, and then I'm going to import emails from my other account, next. So here we need to put in our username. So again, this is going to be the same. So next creator, and then the password. So the password that you set in earlier, and the pop server. So the pop server will come back over here, and we will basically get the details here. So this is going to be the incoming server. Copy that, come back over here, paste that in, okay? And for the port, so the port is 995, set 995. And if you want to leave a copy on your hosting an email, you can select that if you want to. So I'm going to do SSL, label incoming messages, and then click on add account. So right now email has been added, and it's basically going to retrieve email from that account. So right now it's asking us, do we want to send email as? So I want to do that. So I'm going to click on next, and then I can put in my name, click on next. And then here we need the SMTP, so the outgoing server details. So we can go back over here, and we need the outgoing server details here. So we could copy that to our clipboard, come back over here, paste that in, and the port number is going to be the SSL, so 465. And then for our username, which is going to be our email address, and then the password that we set in earlier, and then always select the SSL one, click on add account. Okay, perfect, that's successful. So now we'll basically need to confirm that in our Gmail account. So let's head to our Gmail account, and let's go to inbox. So we're going to wait a few minutes, and you should receive an email. Okay, so that took around 2 minutes, and we received the email here. Let's click into that. So what we want to do, just click on this link to confirm that. Okay, so now we can actually send email as. So if we go back here to our inbox, okay, so just refresh the page. And let's say, for example, if you want to send email, click on compose. And here we can select from the email, and we can select it from hello@nextcreator.com. And then you can enter in the email subject as well as the message, and then click on send. Then it's going to send as this email here. Okay, so congratulations, we are pretty much done with the tutorial. So just some final things. Now, if you do get an update message in your dashboard section, it might show over here, or if you actually click into the Themify settings, it might actually show on the top over here or something. You can also go to the change logs and see if you actually have the latest version of the theme. So this is the latest version of it. Now, if you do need to update the theme, there is basically 2 ways that you can actually do it. So the first way is the manual way, and you can update by going to hoganchua.com/update and downloading the latest theme. So you can click on it just like that, and again, just download it onto your computer. And then you can go back over here. So what you'll need to do is just go to Appearance, Themes, and what you'll need to do is you'll need to basically select this theme over here, so any other theme, and activate that one. Then from here, okay, go click into the Themify Ultra and just delete it, okay. and then go back over here, add new theme, and then upload theme, choose file, and then choose the themify-ultra.zip, open, install, and then you want to reactivate that theme like that. So you can head back to your site and everything should actually retain, right? But you will have the updated version of the theme. So if you want to get automatic updates, then what I do recommend is actually clicking on the link over here. So you can purchase the single theme for $59 and you can choose the Themify Ultra theme, which is the one that we used in the tutorial. It's also the most popular one. Or you can go for the Master Club, which includes all the themes. So Themify also have other themes, and they've also got the plugins and builder add-ons, and that's going to be all included with the 1-year support form and the automatic updates, because you'll get the license key. And you'll have access to the themes, and you can actually download the updater. So with the updater, you'll get the license keys included. So with the updater, basically you'll be able to sort of automatically update the theme. So for example, let's go back over here to our dashboard section, and you'll upload the updater plugin, add new plugin, upload plugin, choose file. Okay, so I actually have it already. So once you do have the Themify updater installed, you'll be able to update it automatically within your dashboard area. You don't have to re-download and delete the theme and reactivate the theme. So you can also get Themify membership, and that actually gets you the support as well. So with the support, you get access to the support forum. So basically you can ask any questions and things like that. You can click on the theme, start a new topic, and yeah, basically if you want to really take your blog to the next level and really learn how to customize your blog, because a lot of people actually have very specific questions and things like that, I really can't get back to everyone. And yeah, I think it's really a great deal to get the support member and then also get the automatic updates. But again, you don't have to. I've also allowed you guys to download the updated version for free. Okay, and you've also got the Slider Pro and the Builder Pro. So with the Slider Pro and the Builder Pro, so basically with the Builder Pro, you can really design your theme from the top to bottom, including being able to customize all these different sections, every single detail about it. So you can really customize how you want your blog post to look and things like that. I've also got on my channel videos on how to create a custom header as well as a custom footer. And you can do that for free using basically the layout parts and the hook content, basically exactly what I've shown you in the tutorial before. So in around a few weeks time, I should have uploaded the follow-up video to this current video, which basically talks about how to make money from your blog, more specifically talking about affiliate marketing and passive income. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys have really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section below.